Welcome to VGU.TV's PlayStation podcast, the DualShock Show, where we only talk about everything. This is the big DualShock Super Show, otherwise known as the show that fell apart at the last minute. With me this week is Alan Muir.
Are we not on the Superstation?
No, we're not.
Unfortunately.
And special guest star this week, Nate Hohl.
Yo.
Listeners, Tom could not be with us this week. It is Easter weekend, so it's pretty tough. We had planned to also have a second guest star, Josh Mobley. Josh Mobley, the CEO of VGU.TV, host of VGU.TV Gamercast. We were planning to have him on here this week because, spoilers are, we have 3 topics of the week, and 2 of which he is an expert on. One being GDC, he actually went yesterday, and the second being BioShock Infinite, which he reviewed. You can find that review on VGU.TV. But show must go on. Easter weekend, it's very busy. As you can see, the 3 of us don't have anything going on. So, and Alan, I don't know anything about Judaism, but I'm pretty sure that they don't do anything for Easter. I don't know for certain.
No, they don't.
Okay, so Alan ain't got nothing going on. This is just another weekend. I am actually going to go to Josh's house. Josh is my cousin. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Mobley. By the way, I didn't mention that. But he's working 3 to 10, and why bother going to his house when I only hang out with him? So I'm gonna go there late, even though their dinner is at like noon. So this is gonna be awkward because it's starting like now.
It's awkward for our listeners as well. They have no idea what's going on. It's like, who are these people?
Like, who are these assholes? It is Saturday, April 30th.
March 30th.
March 30th, whatever.
Yeah, forget about dates. They don't matter.
It doesn't matter. March 30th. I'm sorry, March 30th. I've only had 4 hours of sleep. We had this is not about video games, but I'll go ahead and share it. I had a bit of a mix-up. My friend is having a birthday on April 13th, and there's a baseball game. We're big baseball fans. Well, he's a much bigger fan than I am, but I do love it. There's a baseball game, the Oakland A's are playing on the 12th. His birthday is the 13th, so we were all gonna go to the game together. I bought the ticket, but when I bought it, it was, there was kind of my internet was slow, I had to reload the page, and I had to buy the ticket. And then I bought the ticket. Now, I got an email the other day that said, hey, you traffic stuff, here's when the gates open, blah, blah, blah. But it was for the April 1st game. And I was worried because it says you're receiving this email because you're a ticket holder for the April 1st game. And I was like, that can't be right. So I got home at like 4 o'clock in the morning, spent another couple hours on hold trying to make sure that, called the wrong ticket agency, first of all. Because I'd ordered it a few weeks ago. I don't have the best memory. I gotta write everything down. That's the only reason that this show works. So, I couldn't remember where I'd ordered the ticket. So I called the wrong ticket agency and spent like 2 hours just for them to tell me, we don't have anything for you on file. Got to bed at 6 o'clock, woke up at 10. Called the right ticket agency, and they're like, no, you bought April 12th. So I was like, okay, so if they send me a ticket in the next 2 days, cause it's an April 1st game, then, I must have ordered it and just completely forgot about it. And I guess I'm going to a baseball game on Monday. Anyway.
You could just scalp it, make some money.
I like baseball enough. Plus it's opening night, so.
Yeah, more money.
Yeah, well, still, I love the team. I gotta show my support. If I was gonna go, I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna scalp the ticket. Like, that would be pointless. Cause I'd want to stay for the game.
Hey, Steinbrenner did it on Seinfeld.
I haven't watched enough Seinfeld. I've only watched like, maybe, I could probably, if I had a better memory, I could probably count the number of Seinfeld episodes that I've watched on both hands. in my life. But I should rectify that. I got a friend that's got like all 8 seasons. But this is not the Seinfeld Oakland A's podcast. This is the PlayStation podcast, and we're going to kick it off with what we've been playing. Nate, you are our guest star, so you naturally get to go first. Nate, what have you been playing?
Oh, man. Well, when I wasn't at PAX playing...
Yeah, that is
PAX.
that is our third topic of the week.
Oh, man.
PAX.
We'll talk more about that in a little while.
I've been playing a lot of God of War Ascension's multiplayer.
Ooh.
Getting really into it. Yeah, it's definitely, it's pretty new, so people are still getting used to it. They're slowly, adding new things and, ironing it all out, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. Besides that, I've been playing a bit of Uncharted. Just kind of switching up between those two things. And yeah, that's about it. Now, again, most of my time has been taken up by, BioShock Infinite and PAX and all this other stuff. But yeah, I've been fitting in a little other play sessions where I could, so.
Yes. Well, that's good. That's really good. And BioShock Infinite is a fantastic game. So.
Oh yeah.
We're going to talk about that. But I wanted to throw that out there just in case anybody was like, hey, come on, can I know if it's good or not? Because there's at least one person in the world that's like, oh, I don't know about that BioShock Infinite.
So for that one person out there, yes, it is good.
And I guarantee you they're not listening to this. Okay, Alan, you are next. Why don't you tell me what you've been playing?
My God, I've been playing so many things. I've been playing
so many things. You're always playing so many things. Not all of them are good. Tell me what you've been playing this week.
I've been playing. I too have been playing BioShock Infinite on.
Well, that's good. We're off to a good start.
On the system that shall not be named.
Oh God! You took a great thing and you ruined it.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Hey, it's not. I pre-ordered it like a month ago. What was I supposed to do?
Do you at least? Let me ask you something. Do you have an HD widescreen TV?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, good. Because I don't know what it is. I guess it's just because I hate Xbox so much, but I just equate an Xbox owner as having a shitty TV as well. But my girlfriend actually has a standard definition. It's like a 15-year-old Sony TV. It's standard definition, standard screen, full screen, I should say. And she was playing some. I was watching her play some last night. Oh man! And the first thing I said when she turned it on, I was like, "Oh man, it looks so much better on my TV." Because I tell you, you turn that game on to a regular TV, and it's just so bad. It just you don't lose the beauty. It's beautiful, but it's just so much better with a widescreen HD TV.
Yeah, and I'm playing it a few feet away from a few feet away, so I'm experiencing all this beauty, so much it's just making me go crazy because.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
I feel like I'm playing a PC game.
Yes.
On maximum settings.
Yeah, and that's why she listens to this. So, Lee, that's why you should get an HD widescreen TV. God damn it. She listens to this, so she's gonna be, so the whole time she's gonna be like, God damn it. Fucking busting my chops again. It's all the time with you. God damn it. So,
I'm sure she knows you do it because you care.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do it because I care.
But
anyway, go on, Alan. I'm sorry.
I've been running back through Walking Dead Survival Instincts on my 3rd playthrough now.
Yeah.
And I do it just because I like killing zombies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, killing zombies is always fun. We were talking, I think it was a couple days ago, you mentioned Dead Rising, And I did not like Dead Rising because I always had trouble with the save mechanic in Dead Rising.
Well, you can only use. There's only one save. You can only have one save slot throughout the entire game. So it made playing the game a little hard because you'd have to make your way all the way back to a safe house, save, go back out, and like over and over.
No, like I went. What was it? I started up Dead Rising, and this is when I had a standard definition television because it was an Xbox. Who cares?
I see where this is going.
And I couldn't read anything, and I was like, oh god damn. Anyway, so I would play, and I'd play for a few hours. I was like, oh, that's fun. But I'd be like, oh, I'm done for right now. So I'd try to find my way back to wherever the fuck, and save, and I would be like, okay, save. I'd be like, start, save, saved. All right. I'd boot it up the next day, and it would start me at the very beginning of the game, and I was like, what are you doing?
Wait a minute.
I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, the whole thing about the save points are bathrooms.
Yeah. I did not enjoy that game. I mean, it's kind of fun, but like, it can only sustain you for so long before you're just like, okay, right on. I never tried the second one though.
The second one is fun, especially with the cheats, the cheat DLC, which is just an abomination.
Mm-hmm.
Because why it's bullshit to have to pay money for like $5 for a bunch of cheats.
Yeah, exactly. Saints Row the Third includes cheats in the game. Not even like clever like Grand Theft Auto, where it's like, oh yeah, these specific numbers will unlock cheats. It was like you literally pull up your phone in Saints Row, and then go into extras, and there's a cheats option. Just little check boxes. They're like, you want to do this?
We're not even gonna hide it.
Well, that's actually DLC too.
Is it?
Yeah. You got the full, like, the ultra pack.
I got the full package, so I guess I didn't know that, but still.
But the thing with Dead Rising 2, you cannot save if you use cheats.
Oh, well. See, I wouldn't use cheats. It would hinder my, regardless of whether it did or not, it usually hinders my, because I think I heard sometime that it doesn't, but it usually hinders trophies, and so I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, I was playing it on the system that shall not be named, so I didn't care.
Yeah. Yeah, because who cares about achievements?
Yeah, that's so 2007.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah. But
when it mattered.
Aside from that, I've been playing Red Faction Guerrilla.
Yeah.
And I remember why I love that game so much. Just the caving in a building while you're still in it. Or just seeing a giant tower, like, fall diagonally and just blow up.
Uh-huh.
Or just to see parts flying everywhere. It's so great. And the funny thing, the old labs Ultor, which is funny for Saints Row players because this corporation.
Yes. Yes, I believe Shondi. There's a Easter egg for Shondi in Red Faction as well. I think I read it somewhere that Playboy came to THQ or Volition or someone and was like, "Hey, Shondi's hot. Can we put her in our virtual Vixens issue?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And that cover is actually in another THQ game, which I believe is Red Faction. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
I also remembered why I never finished that game, because the real problem with that game is they screwed up in that the whole world is pretty much unlocked for you.
Uh-huh.
And you could just go out and destroy everything.
Yes. I remember playing, well, it was Gorilla, but I would fucking swing that hammer all the time.
Yeah. So I just do that constantly, and just I forgot about I pretty much forgot about the missions 98% of the time.
Yeah. So, I wasn't, like I said last week, I wasn't a big fan of Red Faction Gorilla, so I wasn't going to bother with Armageddon.
Oh, it makes Armageddon look like hot trash.
It's just garbage.
Oh, no, not hot trash, wet garbage.
Wet garbage. Oh, man. Okay, what else have you been playing? What else?
The Prince of Persia collection.
Oh, I had that for a little while. Here's a funny story, and then I'll let you continue. I know that I always interrupt you, but I have a funny story. I was a door-to-door salesman for a little while, for a vacuum company. You probably have heard of it. I'm not going to name names because I'm sure that the shysters that they are will probably be like, hey, this fucking asshole mentioned us. You pay us. Give us some money. So I worked. I worked for them for about a week before I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do this anymore. But there was a fella that I worked with, an older gentleman. He came by to help me with my training by trying to sell my grandmother a vacuum. And then as he was doing a mattress test, because that's what you do, it's a vacuum cleaner, it's very powerful, and the mattress test is you kind of make it a handheld vacuum and run it across the mattress, and shows how much dirt and stuff gets embedded in your mattress. And he's doing it on my mattress. He looks over, he sees my video game collection, and he's like, oh man, look at all these video games. I got a PlayStation as well, and I like to play with my kids and whatnot, my grandkids. I was like, right on. And he goes, oh man, Arkham City, can I borrow that? Oh man, Prince of Persia. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So I borrowed it, and then I quit, and then I was like, I need those games back. And then he gave me Arkham City, and then he tried to give me Prince of Persia, but it had some fucking original Xbox game in it that I never even fucking heard of before. And I was like, yeah, that's not happening. I got my Arkham City back, but I was like, I tried Prince of Persia twice, and I was like, man, it's just it's told brilliantly. The whole trilogy is told brilliantly, but it's just not for me. I can't stick with it. So I was just like, yeah, fucking whatever, keep it. Arkham City was the more important one anyway. So I never got that back, unfortunately, but that's alright. Anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I played the thing with the trilogy.
Uh-huh.
They kind of lost their way halfway through.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so the first one, Sands of Time, was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And Warrior Within was just... They pretty much went from teen to adult.
Yeah.
Teen to M.
And that's what the Forgotten Sands was for. It was to kind of bridge the gap between Sands of Time and Warrior Within, because there was such a large gap between them.
Yeah, it was a pretty jarring shift.
Yeah.
Just going from, nice orchestral set type of music to, Godsmack.
Yeah, seriously.
Nothing against Godsmack. I respect them, but... Yeah. God, the combat in Sands of Time is not great.
It's not, and that's probably half the reason why I just couldn't do it. I was like, oh man, and which is weird, because like I said last week on our bad games question, Kanan Lynch, horrible gameplay, intriguing enough story that I stuck with it, and like I said, I almost said Saints Row, Prince of Persia, the PS2 trilogy, it's great. The story is told so brilliantly, in that story format, he's telling a story and he's narrating it and whatnot. And if you die, he's like, wait, no, that's not what happened. And then you rewind.
And he even narrates when you pause the game.
Yeah. He's like, should I go on? Especially with the saving as well. So, it's told in a brilliant way.
And god damn, running across the walls is so fun.
It is fun. But the combat was I just couldn't do it. I was like, I don't know, I can't stick with this. So, which is unfortunate, because like I said, brilliant story. if you've never played it, go ahead and play it. If you can't stand it like I do, one of these days I'm gonna just flip on the YouTubes and just go through a playlist and just watch it happen, because, oh man, it's so good.
Yeah, I got it from GameStop for like $18.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap now. Anyway, go on.
I wanted to play Payday the Heist, but I have no one to play it with.
I know. We've been meaning to play Payday the Heist, but we're all just so busy, and it's best with a full tank of people, and like 3 other players that you know. Like, don't just like go on the online servers and just be like, okay, you assholes I'm gonna play with you assholes, I guess, because you don't get to yell at them and have fun with them, because they'll just fucking kick you out. So we haven't had time to all get together and play. I still have it on my hard drive. We're gonna play it eventually. It's just not gonna. And when we do, look for that VGU plays. I'll tell you that much.
Hey, it happened with Red Dead, so why can't it happen again?
It did. Listeners, there is a VGU plays Red Dead video that we can link to in the on the page where we put up the podcast, and I suggest that you look it up. We can also link to you the video for the Payday the Heist VGU plays, which is one of my favorites. I think you would agree, Alan.
Yeah. This isn't Skyrim, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, actually, did we ever record the Red Dead one? Is it on?
We did, but I don't think it's up yet. I don't think Josh finished it. Josh
Mobley is notorious for starting things and then never finishing them. So, we'll link you the Payday the Heist one. It's very good. It's me, it's Josh Mobley, it's Nate Gamer, and we all have a lot of fun yelling at each other. So, if you don't bring that fucking drill, I swear to God.
The funny thing, for the first part, it sounds like just Josh does not even care. Sounds like he's not even enjoying it at all. And then he's like, yeah, I had fun.
The best bit has to be, when we're all trapped in like this small area, and Josh and I both die, and then it's just Nate and, the AI partner.
Hoxton.
And for 3 minutes, because Josh recorded it, so it's his screen. For 3 minutes, we're just watching Nate play and yelling at him, screaming at him, like, you better not fucking die! So, that is probably my favorite part. So listeners, definitely check out that video, after you listen to this show.
Yeah.
Go on.
And the last game I played for a little bit, Yakuza 4.
Yakuza 4. Is that any good? I never played the Yakuza games. Yeah. I played the demo for, I think, 3.
I played the first one and then none of the other ones.
I liked it. I had no idea what was going on the entire time. But I had fun.
Have you played Sleeping Dogs?
Yes, I have, and I loved it.
Which would you say is a better game, Yakuza or Sleeping Dogs?
Sleeping Dogs.
Sleeping Dogs? That's good, because I loved Sleeping Dogs. I thought it was a fantastic game. And if it hadn't been for The Walking Dead and Journey, would have been my game of the year. Like, no contest. That story was just phenomenal. It was brilliant. Nate, you reviewed that.
I did.
You reviewed that a long time ago. You can find that review somewhere in the archives. That was the word that I was looking for last week. I believe last week I was, Alan, I think you remember, I was just like, you can find that, what's the word I'm looking for?
And it was like, acrylic?
Acrylic, it was archives. Archives is the word I was looking for. You can find Nate's review of Sleeping Dogs if you still haven't bought it, still don't know how, if you want to get it. You can find it in our archives at VGU.TV.
They're still coming out with DLC for it, too, so...
Still coming out with DLC, and we're actually going to talk about that in a little while, because there is a huge Square Enix sale on the store.
Oh, boy.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention about Yakuza 4 before I went ahead?
No, but there's actually one thing I forgot about. I played a little bit of DC Universe Online.
Uh-huh.
And if only I could find people to play it with. Because that game it's so good that you need people to play with it, or to play with, or else there's no fun that can go on.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried playing it solo, and I just couldn't. I mean, it was cool, but...
Besides, they locked before, when you, like, subscribed, or when you paid, like, $14 or $15 a month, you get all the DLC for free. Now they've locked it behind a lifetime membership.
Yeah,
that's one.
Where it's like over 115 or 140 something bucks a year, where it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, so my turn. First of all, before I forget, because I forgot last week and then ended up mentioning it like an hour later. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy IV: The After Years on my PSP. Been working on that. I try. Final Fantasy is a game that I just, it's slow going, you know, and I just kind of get to it when I get to it. I do love 4. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Well, not of all time. It's one of my favorite Final Fantasy games. It's a very good game. Of all time. That's a little presumptuous. Anyway, then on my PS3, that got a lot more activity. Ratchet and Clank, the original. Finally got my first trophy in Ratchet and Clank after a few hours. And I was like, I'm not platinuming this game. Threw on Jack 2 for a little bit. And so, you know, that was fun. Then threw on Okami HD. Such a good game. Like, I'm glad that I finally get to play it, because I'd heard so many great things about it. Like, I remember I used to go to Games Radar before they gave Bulletstorm a 10, and then they just lost all credibility. They always used to be like, you should play Okami. That was like one of their running jokes, was like, you should play Okami. So I'm glad that I finally get to play it. I played You Don't Know Jack for a minute to get a trophy. I don't remember which trophy it was. I'm actually trying to look through it real quick. I don't know. Doesn't matter. And then BioShock Infinite came out. Now, before I started it, I decided to install BioShock, because when you get it on the PlayStation 3, you get BioShock, the original, as free download. Seems like that was the smarter decision, wouldn't you say, Alan?
Yeah.
So I decided to download that, and then I turned it on because my girlfriend was here, and I wanted to show her the beginning, you know, the opening monologue and
I am
reveal.
Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question.
Is a man
not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone.
It belongs to everyone.
Yes, I love that. I love that monologue. I love the initial reveal of Ratchet. And so I wanted to show her that, to show her how amazing that is. And then, before I could even start BioShock Infinite, as you guys know, I have a lot of games to play. And I was almost done. I had like one more mission left. So, I threw in Saints Row the Third. I'd finished it the day before, but I still had Gangsters in Space to do. So I was all day. It was Monday. So then I was going to that midnight release. It was Monday all day, and I was busy all day. I was like trying to get that thing done. And I had one mission left before I could even after I got the game. So I was like, I gotta do this mission first. And I got all the trophies in Gangsters in Space, done with Saints Row. Now, I still want to platinum Saints Row, but just like Tomb Raider, all the collectibles and all the 100%ing it's gonna have to wait. Because like I said, too many games to play. Can't linger on other games and just try and get 100% in platinum. Need to finish the stories of other games first. But I finally finished Saints Row the Third. Great game. Love it to death. Trying to go back to Saints Row 2. It's okay. It's not as good. It's not as good.
It's on an entirely different engine.
It's on an entirely different engine. It's different, you know, and you can feel it, like in the controls and everything. It's just different. I'm gonna try and stick with it a little longer. You know what's funny though? I was customizing my character. I put in the voice. There are three male voices.
Yeah.
A British man, a black man, and a Mexican man. I was like, I can't tell if this is or is not racist.
Yeah, because there's no white guy.
There's no white guy voice.
Unless you want to count the British guy.
I mean...
Yeah, I guess that's the closest thing. I remember I chose the British guy because I was like, okay, like, my guy looks like a white dude. He can't have a black man voice, and he can't have a Mexican guy voice. So I guess I'll be British.
Yeah. I played BioShock Infinite. I also played Spec Ops: The Line when I finished BioShock Infinite, but I wanted to get that out of the way before I went back. BioShock Infinite.
Well, I realized, if you don't mind me cutting you off, I realized something when playing Spec Ops: The Line.
Mm-hmm.
If you something where you really have to listen closely. At the part where you witness the guy killing the CIA agent.
Mm-hmm. Spoilers.
The game's been out for like a year, so
the game's been out for like a year, but I mean, spoilers to
anyone who hasn't played it.
People are just jumping up on that free PlayStation Plus thing, and they're like, "Oh, Spec Ops! I never played that." Go ahead.
When you go into that like underground area, it's sort of like the underground city, pretty much. And you open fire on the hostiles. You can hear them saying, "Stop firing! We're not CIA! We're not CIA!" So you're unknowingly committing genocide, when and you have no choice.
Yeah.
No matter what, it's like just killing everyone you know because you think they're going to hurt you.
Yeah. Spec Ops: The Line is a very dark game. And it's very mature, and it has very weighty...
everything is gray, basically.
Very weighty options. Lots of decisions that you have to make. Lots of very hard decisions that you have to make. And, but it's a great game. I love games like that, where you have to make tough decisions. Cause you're just like, oh my god, what do I do here? Nate, I don't know if you've played it. Have you played it?
I have not, but I really want to.
It's very good. I'm not gonna spoil very much of it, but I am gonna say that to Alan, I just passed the bit, where he has the soldier, and the other guy, tied up and hanging from the rafter, and you have to choose one to shoot.
Yeah, I didn't. That the entire game, I was like, the entire game, like, I went in expecting a generic shooter.
Oh, it's so much more.
Yeah.
And I was so pleasantly surprised by that. And here's a funny story. Here's something funny, alright? Adams. Your partner, one of your partners, Adams. Guess who he's voiced by? Nobody?
Nolan North.
No, that's Walker. But I'll tell you who Adams is voiced by. I need the actual name, because I need to bury this lead so bad. Because you're gonna fucking blow your mind when I reveal who he actually is. God damn it, IMDb, open up. Oh man.
Wait for it.
That keyboard
Wait for it.
The keyboard's taking so long. Christopher Reed.
What?
Christopher Reed voices First Lieutenant Alfonso Adams. Now, maybe you don't know who Christopher Reed is, but I'll tell you who he is. He's fucking Kid from Kid and Play.
He was also in Rudy.
Yes, but he's Kid from Kid and Play. Now, I didn't know who he was, but I was like, Adams does sound familiar. Now, I've never watched House Party, but I was still surprised to be like, it's fucking Kid. It's Kid and Play. He's a class act. About to be a house party up in here. Just going on and on. Do this all day, as long as I have IMDb. Anyway. I played BioShock Infinite. Great game. Love it to death. Zipped through it. My friend actually, I like to say that he'd had like 2.5 years full of pent up excitement because he finished it in like 24 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
I finished it in 2 days. He zipped through it. He took a little time to look, but he didn't like actively look. Like, he found what voxophones and kinetoscopes that he found and finished it in 24 hours. He actually started his second run and like, he told me in the morning, he was like, I started my second run today. And then later on he was like, I'm already here. And I was like, Jesus Christ! But, I finished it in 2 days. Now, I tried to make it last as best as I could, but at the end of the day, I was still playing for like 10 hours straight. So, it's a great game, and we're going to talk about it. That's one of our topics of the week. So let's not linger on this. We're going to move on to PlayStation Plus deals. We've lingered enough on what we've been playing. Always takes so long. It's all right though. As another podcast would say, it's conversational.
Conversational podcast.
And that's what I love about it. I love that we get to talk about it because games are a great topic for anybody to talk about. PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Store deals. Alan, will you please let us know what the U.S. deals are?
Yes, for PlayStation Plus, we only got one thing this week. We got Disgaea 3, Absence of Detention for the Vita. So finally, we got a Vita game.
Yes. Do you know how much that was? I noticed that we didn't write down the price.
Who cares, man? It's free.
It's free. I didn't know that it was free. I thought that it was just. I didn't know if it was free or discounted.
Oh, so. Definitely, we got it for free.
Oh, okay, all right.
We got the Noble Editions, BioShock Infinite for $59.99.
Very good. If you haven't gotten it, and you'd rather have a digital copy rather than a retail copy, get it. I swear it's worth it. I think all of us can. So
yeah, Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel for about the same price.
Got a bad review. Who cares?
Yeah, that series has been in shit since it started.
Yeah, Josh, I wish we'd had the idea to do VGU plays back then, because Josh and I played the first one, and man, that didn't last long. But it was sure funny.
Tiger Woods PGA Tour 14 for the same price. PlayStation Plus Fitness for $9.99.
Ew, I don't want any of that.
Which is my thought exactly when I saw it. I was like, this game just get developed and thrown out there?
It's weird though. I had a PGA Tour. I had a Sega Genesis when I was a kid, and I had a PGA Tour game.
Oh, you did?
I did. My mother got it for me. I saw it on her dresser one day, and I was like, "Oh shit, is this for me?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, I got this for you the other day." I was like, "Oh okay, right on." So I put it in, and it's fucking PGA Tour. But you would be surprised how much playtime that game actually did get.
Say what you want, golf is fun.
Because I'm not saying that like I had a shortage of games. Like I didn't have I didn't have shitty games. I didn't have a little amount of games. But every so often I was like, maybe I'll put on some PGA Tour. I was fucking terrible at it, but I mean, it was just kind of fun. It was peaceful, Anyway, go on.
Patapon bundle for $14.99, which gives you the first 3 Patapon games. Which is very worth it.
I tried Patapon once when I went to buy my PSP, and I wasn't a big fan, but I could see why other people would be.
I played Patapon after back in 08, specifically Valentine's Day 08, and I wish I played the second and third one because it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Sega Fight Pack for $9.99, which includes Sonic the Fighters, Virtua Fighter 2, and Fighting Vipers. The third, I don't think anyone played. Just by that name.
I don't think I've heard of Virtua Fighter, but I don't think I've actually heard of Sonic the Fighters or Fighting Vipers. So it doesn't surprise me that there is a fighting Sonic game apparently.
Oh, they squeezed so much out of Sonic. They just squeezed him like a wet rag.
Oh man, they tried so hard. I was never a Sonic guy. Like, he's alright.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Sega Vintage Collection, Toe Jam and Earl.
Never actually played Toe Jam and Earl, but remember that it was pretty good.
Yeah. It's about $6.99 and includes the first Toe Jam and Earl and Toe Jam and Earl and Panic on Funkatron. And man, I wish they had. Makes me realize that video games today don't have as nearly as awesome titles as they had back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, Toe Jam and Earl in Panic on Funkatron. That's so awesome. I'm just imagining a giant disco, Toe Jam and Earl running around, just being chased Benny Hill style.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the big sales, the big 2 sales that are going on in the PlayStation Store.
Big sales. If you don't have a PlayStation Plus account, I mean, they're still on sale, but get some extra savings.
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus. This is a good reason. What are you starting with? Are you starting with Square Enix?
Yeah, I'll start there.
Okay, go ahead.
Just Cause 2, PS Plus price, $8.99.
I got Just Cause 2. I don't have enough room on my hard drive to download it, but I got it because I was like, I hear this is really good. So,
it's crazy. They have the island from Lost in it.
See, now, the first one, I never played, but
the first one is easily forgettable.
The first one, I looked at it and I was like, it just doesn't grab me. But I remember seeing trailers and stuff for Just Cause 2, and it looked fucking crazy. And I was like, it's like Saints Row on an island, basically. And I was like, I can dig this. So, that is what I'm going to do. Eventually, when I have some free space on the hard drive.
I have it waiting in my cart, but I can't get it because the PSN card I got was bogus and doesn't work. I think
that you should contact Sony or PSN or someone and be like, look, man, I got this card. It don't work. I want my $20, man.
Oh, I did, and I put in my site email as the from address.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't help me, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta be able to reimburse you somehow. I mean, otherwise you're out $20, and that's not cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, go ahead.
Kane Lynch 2 Dog Days, $8.99. Kane Lynch Dead Men, $6.74.
As I mentioned last week, Kane and Lynch, not very good games as far as gameplay goes. Storyline intriguing enough. Like, if you think 2 battered old angry men that kill people are interesting, which I thought they were, especially their dialogue. They were very good characters in the first game. it was a sad trade-off, honestly. Gameplay was bad in the first one, but story was good. But in the second one, story was lacking and gameplay was much better.
Yeah, whenever I hear anything about Kane and Lynch, like the first one, I think the Reservoir Dogs game.
Yeah, Kane and Lynch was a very good game. For me, I
was that say? Because you're about to put yourself in a big hole.
In a big hole, yeah. For me, I really enjoyed it.
Not Nate Hohl, a big hole.
Not hey.
Oh.
Whoa, hey now. No, it's. I'm like drawing myself into a corner. No, for me, I really enjoyed it. Like, the gameplay was not very good. There were difficulty spikes. It was sticky cover, the magnetic cover, which is always a horrible mechanic. Like always, make a button for cover. Seriously, always. But the story was intriguing enough. We had these two old men. One's trying to get out of the game, but this group is like, hey, no, you stole from us, give us some money. The
other guy is batshit crazy.
Getting our money back. Lynch in charge of, and he's fucking psychotic, He's got these, crazy episodes where he, doesn't even fucking, he does something crazy, doesn't even fucking remember that he did it. There's a great sequence where, they're at a nightclub and there's a shootout that happens. So good. Just not very good gameplay. And then the second one, gameplay was so much better, button cover, aiming was tighter, and I loved the camera tricks, that it looked like a grainy YouTube video. There was distortion and blood splattered on the lens when you got shot, and, the angle was kind of wavy just a little bit, but it was so much fun and it was so good to watch, but the story was lacking. It just felt like, for me, because I played it on easy, because I was on Xbox, so who cares? It was a 4.5 hour run and shoot mission. That was it. There was very little story to be had. A few cutscenes here and there, but not enough. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So some notable ones.
Go on. Please go on. We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Some notable ones, Deus Ex Human Revolution for about $10.
Mm-hmm.
Section 8, which is notable because it's developed by the same guys who did that terrible, terrible game, Aliens Colonial Marines.
Like we mentioned earlier, lots of Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah, Sleeping Dogs.
DLC.
The digital edition is available for $24.99.
Yes. Lots of DLC as well.
Oh, yeah.
So definitely, if you don't like, if you've never heard of Sleeping Dogs, or if you've thought to yourself, I don't know about all that Sleeping Dogs, I don't know if I want to play that. Very good game. Definitely pick it up. Worth the price. Go for it.
And something we didn't mention, there's also a Pixel Junk sale too.
Oh, is there? I didn't know.
Yeah, all the Pixel Junk games that have been released so far, except for Pixel Junk Racers 2.
Mm-hmm.
Pixel Junk Eden, Pixel Junk Shooter, Pixel Junk Side Scroller, Pixel Junk 4AM, Pixel Junk Shooter 2, all $5.
I've never played Pixel Junk anything, honestly. So
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But back to the big two sale, the THQ and Ubisoft or Square sale. Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light.
Mm-hmm.
$6.74.
Nice.
Escape Vector, $4.49.
And then on to our THQ sale, right?
Yeah.
THQ dissolved.
Rest in
We
peace.
we miss you. They brought us gems like Darksiders, and I wasn't a fan of Darksiders, but they also brought us Saints Row, and we already know that I love Saints Row. So, THQ dissolved, went bankrupt, and so this is kind of a last hurrah, I suppose, a THQ sale on the store. Please, Alan, go ahead.
We've got Darksiders 2 for $27.99, which, I mean, the game hasn't been out for a year yet. It's only been out, it came out last August.
Yes. But
still, it's...
You can also get a complete pack, I believe, of Darksiders 1 and 2, can't you?
Yeah, for about, I think, $69.99.
Yeah, it's about $70 for 2 games. That's not a bad price. Although PlayStation Plus users got Darksiders for free a while back, so it's not exactly worth it when you really think about it.
So it actually makes Darksiders 2 the plus price much more worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
When it comes to that bundle.
Yes.
We've also got MX's First ATV Alive for $10.49. Red Faction Armageddon for $5, which do not buy that. Do not buy that. Okay, it is a bad game.
Don't get it.
With terrible enemies, with just a terrible plot.
And Alan would know bad games.
Yeah, I know bad games. Red Faction Guerrilla is $5 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Costume Quest is $3.75, which is a steal for that price.
Yeah.
And
I've never played it, but I hear it's very good.
Oh, it's great. Stacking is available for $3.75.
Also hear that's very good.
The Blob 2 is available for $3.75 as well. Which it's not.
It's all right.
I remember hearing like 5 or 6 E3s ago when they were like the Blob 2 is going to, Blob is going to change everything for the Wii. In reality, it didn't really change much.
Yes.
But all that aside, Red Faction Battlegrounds, $2.50. Not worth it.
Not worth it.
Still not worth it. And the Darksiders 2 official soundtrack is available for about $2.50. That is worth it because they Vigil did their best with what they had. Now,
before I move on to the European store, I want to make sure that I mention we mentioned a lot of games that are on sale. These are notable editions. But I also want to mention that, like, if you have all of these games, check out the sale, obviously. If we haven't piqued your interest enough. But if you have, like, Deus Ex and you have Just Cause 2 and you're like, I already have it, what does it matter? If you don't have the DLC, there's a lot of Deus Ex DLC, there's a lot of Just Cause 2 DLC, Kane & Lynch 2 DLC. Don't know why you get that, but I mean, because the multiplayer is not really that good. A lot of Sleeping Dogs DLC, all that.
Kane & Lynch DLC, Just Cause 2 DLC.
Which I mentioned. So, I mean, if you want to do that, if you don't have those, it's all discounted, so check it out. Anyway.
An example, like, just going through the Kane & Lynch, weapons, like, Alliance weapon pack for 2, it's like $1.34.
Yeah.
The masks are, like, not even $1. There's a lot of stuff that's not even $1. And, like,
PlayStation Plus, listeners. If you don't have it, what are you doing?
Yeah,
pays for itself. Anyway,
I could have used my that $20 card to get some awesome DLC for Deus Ex.
You really could.
Pay me, Sony. Pay me.
Before I forget, also, it doesn't really matter because by the time this goes up, it'll probably go up tomorrow on Easter, and that's the last day of March. But if you're listening to this before the end of the day, you have a few more hours, I guess. That's my guess, to try and scoop up some stuff, because on April 1st, you're gonna get you might or might not get a voucher, depending on how much you paid, for $10 back if you bought $50 worth of merchandise on the PlayStation Store. There's they're having a deal Every $50 that you spend, you get $10 back. They send you a voucher on April 1st. So, I don't know, make sure that you spend $50, because, if you're like, what the fuck, I didn't get $10, maybe you only spent $49.99. So, if you want that $10, or however much, try and see if you can round it out to 50. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. It's gonna end on April 1st. So, and like I said, I assume that this is gonna go up tomorrow on the last day of March. So, got a few more hours. Scoop it up. Especially these sales. Come on. PlayStation Plus in Europe. Not really anything. At least that's what Alan says. He's the one that, he covered. He wrote all the lists, but I, thought I'd give his poor voice a break. He's got to save it for the news. Notable additions and deals in Europe. BioShock Infinite, $49.99, $59.99. I don't know what those signs mean. I think the first one is pounds. I don't know what the other one is, because I'm not from Europe. Sega Fight Pack, $449, $549. Sega Vintage Collection Toe Jam and all, $449, $549. And Sly Cooper Thieves in Time is $19.99 and $29.99. Whatever those signs are. I don't know what they are. We're in America. We use dollars. We use a little S with a line through it. Come on. Tom would know. But he's not here. Easter weekend has claimed both Tom and Josh. Anyway, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. I wanted to play that really bad. And I could probably platinum it as well. But I got time. I got so many other games to play right now. It's too busy. Anyway, we've lingered long enough on this. Take a long time. It's conversational. My clock already says that we're at an hour and a half. But we did talk a little bit beforehand. Anyway, here we go. We are going to start with This Week in PlayStation. That's going to be this week's news stories. This week has been pretty busy. We had PAX East last week. We had GDC this week. And we have a lot of news to cover from both, and also outside news. But since PAX started first, and Nate Hohl actually went to PAX.
I did.
I handed over the PAX East stories to Nate so that he could share them with you, and maybe put his own creative spin on them. And then maybe he's got some insider input on them, so we can talk about it and talk about each of them. So Nate, why don't you take it away with the PAX news?
Alrighty. Well, let's see. It was pretty banging time at PAX. A lot going on. I literally spent like the first 20 minutes just kind of wandering around, just being like, where do I begin? One new thing that was like really catching a lot of attention. Capcom had their own like walled off area, and they were just, they had a bunch of things. They were showing off a bunch of things like you could play, all their different fighting games. They had Remember Me, which is a good game. It was really good. Yeah, Remember Me looks really good.
Very excited for that.
Yeah. But also one of the big hits I'm sure a lot of people heard is DuckTales is getting an HD remaster.
DuckTales is a very hard game.
I've heard. I mean, I don't know myself, but I've heard.
You never played it?
No, I didn't.
I played a bit of the first one. I believe it was on the NES, and it's a good game. It's a very good game. It's just very, very hard. Very hard. They had a sequel. It was I had DuckTales 2 on the original Game Boy. Never beat it. Never beat it because it's just as hard. So hard. And I assume that this one will be just as hard. I hope so. I mean, I don't want. Look, I love games and I love being able to complete games, but that doesn't mean that we should do away with the very hard games, the arcade games that are so hard to beat. I mean, and we kind of lose that with, like when we had the Simpsons arcade game and the X-Men arcade game come to us a little while back. And, we lose that because, half the challenge in that is that it's hard. And you gotta have a lot of quarters if you want to make it through to the end.
That's true.
But when you have it, on PSN, you don't, you can just be like, no, continue. And you can just keep going. Like, I finished the Simpsons arcade game on PSN. I never completed it on an arcade machine. Because it's hard. It's almost damn near impossible. I would say. I mean, you gotta be really good. You gotta be really, really good. But, so I'm hoping that this is the kind of game that it's really hard. Like, it's just as hard as the old ones, and it's, you can still continue, but it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be challenging, and it's gonna frustrate you. Just like the old ones did.
Yeah, it sounds like they're gonna keep the core, spirit of the game intact.
Right.
They were touting a lot how it's going to feature hand-drawn sprites, just like, again, trying to go for that whole nostalgia, old school feel. It's going to come this summer. They had like a hands-on, like you could play it at PAX, but it's going to be officially released, this summer, for Wii U, PlayStation, Xbox. Going to be $15, so, not too big of an investment. But yeah,
not bad.
Yeah. Not too bad. Capcom also had they literally the entire middle section of the showroom floor was just this giant Capcom area.
Right.
And they had
that's actually the case at a lot of conventions as well.
Yeah,
not for the big stuff like Comic-Con and WonderCon and whatnot. But they do have a big section. You can see it when you're walking the floor, you'll be like, oh, I see the big Capcom banner.
Yeah.
So, Capcom, big name in gaming. So.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. They had Remember Me, they had DuckTales, they had, a bunch of fighting game tournaments, like Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom and all that stuff. They also their old school stuff isn't stopping with just DuckTales. They also have a little known game you might have heard of, Dungeons & Dragons Chronicles of Mystara.
Yes.
It's same sort of deal as DuckTales. They're remastering it, coming to PSN, Xbox, PC, Wii U, $15. It will include Tower of Doom and Shadow of Mystara, so that's those two separate games in this new collection. Again, really, people were waiting in line for upwards of 3-4 hours just to play this stuff. So,
yeah,
it's got to be popular.
I'm not embarrassed to say that I played Dungeons and Dragons a few times. Not all of it has always gone very well. I tend to lean more towards less Dungeons and Dragons per se. I like that, but games like Skyrim and whatnot even don't really interest me anymore. Now, I used to read a lot of fantasy fiction books, filled with elves and shit, elves and dragons and whatnot, and they're still good, and I'm still trying to I've read them a few times, so it's a little tough to plow through them now, especially now that I have so much to play. But I've kind of fallen out of that kind of thing. Though, Josh Mobley, CEO of VGU.TV, he and I have played a campaign known as Hollow Earth Expedition. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but basically, it's not so much Dungeons and Dragons, but more dinosaurs and Nazis. So, and I like that a little bit more. It's a little more fun. Because it's just way more ridiculous. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. I like the more modern kind of Dungeons and Dragons role playing kind of things. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. So, Gearbox had a lot of Borderlands 2 news at PAX East. They actually had they had a whole big panel that was in the main theater where they just talked about the characters and the development and all the little nuances and all. They answered a lot of fan questions. It was pretty neat. And it was funny because if you didn't want to wait in the freaking like 5-hour long line to get to the actual theater. They actually like they broadcast the panel on like a big screen on the show floor too.
Uh-huh.
So you can just watch it from there. So yeah, a lot of big stuff coming to Borderlands 2. They're raising the level cap to 61, which is something that a lot of people have been, pining for. That's going to happen on April 2nd. Free season pass holders, $5 if you're not a season pass holder, so it's not a big deal. They also revealed the new playable character, Krieg. He is a melee-focused character, so he'll be more in line with the Assassin Zero. So they got a good mix of melee and ranged characters.
Yeah.
He'll be $10. What else? Oh man. Good. It's a good time to be a Borderlands 2 player.
Yes. I still have Borderlands. I got it day one. That's like, what was it? Was it September or August 18th? I think it was September.
Sure.
One of those days. Regardless, I got it day one. Still have not finished the campaign. That's how backed up I am. So, I still have, also Borderlands is a much longer game.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's easier with more people. It's more fun with more people. So it's much easier to fall out of Borderlands.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
That's why, Josh and we used to always play the first one together because we didn't like playing alone. But, I haven't gotten back to it in a long, long, long time. And, I have these shorter games that I want to be able to complete, like Jak 2 and Ratchet and Clank and Peace Walker, Hitman Absolution, all that, So, Borderlands 2, a long game. I just, plus I really want to platinum that game. I platinumed the first one. It took me so long. But, let's try to stay consistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, lots of Borderlands 2 news at PAX.
Yeah. They also have like a new difficulty mode, which is available only if you're at the current max level, which is 50. I'm assuming that's going to help you get to the new max level, which is 61. So yeah, new character, new difficulty mode, increased level cap, new weapon tier, bunch of new stuff coming. So yeah.
Can we dial it back a little bit? You cut out for me a little bit.
Oh, gee, sorry.
That's no problem.
Just, a lot of good stuff coming to Borderlands 2. Great time to be a Borderlands 2 player. And there is other stuff that happened at PAX, but I'll probably save it for discuss it later.
Yeah, we're going to discuss PAX a little more in detail in our Topic of the Week section. It's going to be
those are the big highlights.
Yes. Now, for me, I'm going to go ahead and take care of all the regular news. Alan, you've been suspiciously quiet.
What now?
He's just like, PAX, whatever.
PAX. You know what would be awesome? If the people who made Borderlands made a game based on aliens. That'd be awesome.
You know, it'd be great is if the people from Borderlands, they made a Duke Nukem game. I hear that they're really funny. Anyway, Alan is going to take care of the GDC news, but we're not ready for that just yet. We're going to take care of some of the regular news, the stuff that happened in between PAX and GDC. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. Fuse has just gotten a release date. Fuse is from Insomniac. Insomniac from Resistance and Ratchet and Clank. It's a 4-player cooperative third-person shooter, and it's going to hit consoles on May 28th in North America and May 31st in Europe.
Oh, snap.
I don't know much about Fuse.
Fuse looks batshit crazy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I'm going to have to look up a trailer or something, because I don't even remember what it is. Also, here's something that I do know what it is, and have heard for a very long time. Puppeteer has a release date.
Is this the Elmo simulator?
No, it is an exclusive platformer, a PS3 exclusive platformer, about a puppet, a marionette. Which, when I saw it, I don't know if you guys are Digimon fans at all. I am an unabashed Digimon fan. and it looked a lot like Puppetmon from the first season, and I loved it to death. Puppetmon was like scary as shit. I'm gonna find an image and you'll see it and you'll be like, that is a scary looking motherfucker. Like not even like it doesn't even look very that threatening, but like still just he's got this look in his eye where you're just like, man, I don't want to cross him.
Man, if he takes some roids, I'm dead.
Yeah, PS3 exclusive platformer, and it's going to be released in North America on September 10th. But there are no release dates for other territories. None of those have been settled quite yet. So sorry guys, but we know when we're getting it. Guacamelee is another game that I've heard a little bit about. It's about a luchador. I don't know if you could tell from the title, or if you just thought that this was like a guacamole fighter game.
I thought it was just a dipping simulator.
I thought it was close. It's very close. I think that was their first idea for it. But let me see. Guacamelee got a release date this week, hitting PlayStation 3 and Vita on April 9th in North America, April 10th in Europe and Australia. The game is going to be $15, $14.99, and it will support cross-buy. Something about Guacamelee. I don't like the name of it.
Makes me hungry.
Well, I don't like guacamole. That might be it. But I just don't like it. Just I guess I just never liked the sound of guacamole anyway. But Guacamelee it's just I don't like that name, and I think it's the same as like the Croods that Disney or that not Disney that
Pixar or whatever, yeah,
Pixar movie, the Pixar movie that came out where I'm just so angry at it. Like it doesn't even look like it's going to be a terrible movie. I hate the title so much. Like Nate knows, I tweeted. I was like, there is
for a little
no
Twitter conversation, you were just like, oh, it fills me with rage, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna send you the DVD set, man.
I was like, there is never been an animated movie that has filled me with more rage than The Croods. Because I just imagine that pitch meeting went like, so they're cavemen. They're obviously not going to be sophisticated or dignified. They're going to be crude. So we called them the Crude. Shut up. That's stupid. And I hate you for it. And that's how I feel about Guacamelee. I just don't like. It could be a great game.
That over to this game. That's how I feel.
Like it could be a great game. The Croods could be a fucking good movie. I don't know, but I just hate the title and I hold it against it. I just hate everything. Like it makes me sad because it's like Nick Cage and Emma Stone and like Ryan Reynolds is in that movie. Cloris Leachman is in that movie. There's so many people in that movie. And like, it doesn't look like a terrible movie, although I don't like the character, the character builds. I don't like how the characters look. Mm-hmm. But
it's fine. No one's liked how Nick Cage has looked for years.
But here's that picture, by the way. You know, I just hate that name.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
I told you, he looks so scary. I was like, that motherfucker is frightening.
God, it looks like he's smiling, too.
Got this big-ass hammer and shit. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Is that the cross he has on his back?
That's the marionette cross.
Oh, for a second I thought he had, like, the cross.
Yeah. No, okay, a new costume pack was announced for Injustice Gods Among Us. As you know, Superman is getting the Red Sun alternate costume. I think there are a couple others that have alternate costumes as well. But
there's a Flashpoint costume as well.
Batman, Catwoman, and the Joker are going to be getting Arkham City costumes. So but no additional details have been confirmed at this time. It was a French commercial that I saw, and the only date that was on it was the release date for the actual game. So I don't know if that's going to be like at launch or if this is going to be like a couple days later. I don't know. So in the meantime, just so you know, Arkham City costumes for Batman, Catwoman, Joker, maybe at launch, maybe not, but they're going to be there. Also, here's some news. The final Rock Band DLC song has been revealed. Now, as you guys know, Rock Band's been putting out DLC songs pretty consistently for the last few years. How long has it been? 6 years?
Or 5-6 years. It's been since
5-6 years.
November-ish 2007.
It's been consistent, and they just constantly putting out songs. No shortage. But they're finally closing the doors. They're saying, hey, we've ran this Rock Band thing into the ground long enough. This is our last song that we're going to send over to you. And it is Don McLean's 1971 classic, American Pie, which is fitting.
I'm surprised it isn't something like Closing Time.
Yeah. I'd actually imagine that they already have it. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, by this time they've got to have. I'm surprised they didn't have American Pie. But anyway, American Pie will be the song that the franchise goes out on. The song's going to be released on April 2nd for $1.99, which is also 160 Microsoft points, but who gives a shit? Great news. Great news for me. Grand Theft Auto 5. New Grand Theft Auto 5 screens have emerged. Obviously, this is a podcast. It's all audio. You can't see these screens, so I'm going to do the next best thing and waste your time by detailing them. The screens show several shots of Los Santos in various states of weather and time of day, such as sunset, stormy night. There's also a great shot of the river, and there's a shot of stormy night is also a great image. If find the images online, listeners. But there's an image of the pier. It's nighttime. The sky is a dark navy. It's kind of a dark blue, and there's a big lightning bolt in the background. Oh, it's so good. I love that image. But there are also a few other shots. There's a shot of scuba diving and skydiving, which leads us to believe that these may be activities that you can do in the game. A police helicopter. There's a sexy car driving next to those windmill things that are in the mountains. You know how they are. Also, finally, there are screens of the characters. Michael is leaning against a car, all sexy-like. Trevor is on a motorcycle. If you can see in that image that in the background there's a car behind him. It's kind of blurred out because the focus is mainly on Trevor, but you can see that there's a car and there's someone leaning out the window, shooting behind them. And there's also an image of Franklin with a bandana around his face, carrying a Gatling gun.
That's like very extreme.
That's exciting. And there's a car on fire in front of him, so that's going to be fun. Speaking of GTA, more news. Rockstar announced that Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories are coming to the PSN as PS2 classics on April 2nd. That will be this Tuesday in North America, and April 3rd in Europe for $9.99 each.
Man, can't wait to platinum that game.
Oh, damn it. God damn it, Rockstar! What have I told you? I've been trying to tell you that if you made an HD collection, or even, not even HD, just slap some trophies in those motherfuckers. So much money. So much money for you.
$1 million seller.
Way more money than you'd get for just simple PS2 classics. Not to mention, another great money-making idea, box set soundtrack for Vice City Stories, just like you did with Vice City. I maintain Vice City had a great soundtrack. There's no denying this. Vice City Stories had a better soundtrack because there were more songs. There's fucking 18 songs in each station.
I just like I like podcast with Maurice Chavez.
I do love Pressing Issues. It's very funny. Pretty much any talk show on Grand Theft Auto is great, except K-Chat was decent, and the extra shows were kind of lacking in the Stories games, because in the Stories games in Vice City, there's Pressing Issues, VCPR. It's just all Pressing Issues, but in Vice City Stories, Pressing Issues had its own slot amongst a couple other shows, and Pressing Issues is the best one, obviously. Same with Grand Theft Auto 3. Chatterbox has its own station, but Liberty City Stories Chatterbox was just one show of many on the talk show, on the talk radio channel, and Chatterbox is the best one. Anyway, also as far as Grand Theft Auto 4 is concerned, everything is pretty good except for Beatrix Fontaine. That is not a very good talk show. Anyway, enough of that. Seriously, Rockstar, Jesus Christ. Trophies, come on. Trophies. Like I said last week, there is a major difference between, oh man, Rockstar put all those PS2 Grand Theft Auto games up on the PSN as PS2 classics. Oh, well, that's cool. I have them on PS2, so who gives a shit? And there's a difference between that and, hey, Rockstar put all those PS2 Grand Theft Autos up and they got trophies. Well, let me get my fucking wallet out. Anyway, last piece of regular news before we dive into GDC news for Alan. Last month, microtransactions were announced for the Xbox 360 version of Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And this week, we learned that PS3 and PC will get the same vanity items starting on April 12th. The additions include 9 themed personalization packs, 10 create a class slots, Flags of the World calling card packs, and the Nuketown 2025 multiplayer zombies map. All additions are pointless and certainly not worth your money. So, with that being said, now we move on to GDC news. Alan, will you take it away?
Yes, I will. New PlayStation 4 details were announced at GDC. Small details like an increased friend list, a very large hard drive for each system, and the D-pad and face buttons will be digital rather than analog, which is pretty big news.
Yeah.
And small at the same time.
Kind of small, but I mean, little updates help.
Yeah.
PS4 is coming, listeners, and we want to be prepared. We want to know what we're getting into. This is a new console. We want to know what we're getting into, alright? What else?
We also learned that the PS4 will charge controllers while in sleep mode.
Finally.
Yeah. And the best, each box comes with a headset.
Thank you. Oh my god. Bluetooth hurt my ear. They're just so awkward and uncomfortable, and that's why every time we play online, we always use Skype, because we don't want to use Bluetooth.
The moment I put mine on, I felt like a douchebag, so I just had to throw it out.
Yeah. Anyway.
Next up, we got Telltale revealed at GDC this week what their second game is, or their next game.
Their next game.
The Wolf Among Us.
Sounds good, too.
Coming to 360, PC, and PS3 this summer. The Wolf Among Us is based on DC's Fable series and will allow players to play as Bigby Wolf, also known as the Big Bad Wolf, after he has been exiled to New York City. Wolf has to keep other fairy tale characters, such as Mr. Toad and the Three Little Pigs, undetected in the real world.
Alan, have you ever read Fables? I know that you're a big comic guy.
No, I have not, but all I know is that there are so many goddamn trades of this series.
I've heard. I've never read Fables myself. I hear that it's very good, and I'd love to read it at some point, but God, so much. Just who has the time?
Well,
really?
The series Once Upon a Time on ABC is likened very much to Fables.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I watched the first season of that, and I know there's a second season, and I haven't gotten around to it yet. But I like the first season. Yes. Robert Carlyle is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Nacho.
Well, come on, Francis Begbie.
There you go.
Yeah.
Last piece of news.
Big news.
Big news. It's my favorite piece of news. Even more so than Grand Theft Auto, and that's saying something.
Hideo Kojima revealed at a panel that The Phantom Pain is Metal Gear Solid 5, surprising absolutely no one in the process.
Yeah.
We all knew.
Well, I'm shocked, said nobody ever.
It was nice to get confirmation, but we all knew.
The surprise was that longtime voice of Snake, David Hayter, is not reprising his role.
Which is a little, I'm a little down about it, but we all know Phantom Pain's gonna be fucking mind-blowing. I mean, I've watched the trailer twice. It's a beautiful trailer. Have you guys seen it?
I have.
I have not, because I cannot. The only Metal Gear I've played has been 4.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard, very hard for me to get into that series. I want to, but it's hard.
You gotta try. Like, sometimes it helps. You know, I assume you're saying that, you know, the controls are much better in 4. I've never played 4. So I wouldn't know what you're saying, really. Well, but I assume that the controls are better.
I missed out on Metal Gear Solid 1 through 3. So 4 was the first one I actually was able to play.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. But halfway through I got lost, or I just fell out of it.
Yeah. My suggestion to you would be play Metal Gear Solid 3. Because it's amazing.
I've heard that it's pretty much the best of the series.
It is an amazing game. It is fantastic. And it is technically the first in the series. Like, as far as chronological goes, you know, like, as it happens. So if you want to do it that way, that's what I'm doing. I've mentioned this before. Still in the middle of Peace Walker. And Phantom Pain comes after Peace Walker. So, gonna be a big gap there. But,
also,
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Surprising, actually, more people than the actual announcement of 5. Turns out that Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain are separate games, not just one big game.
Now, I don't know details on this, because Kojima said at the panel, he said that they were the same game. But then Fox Studios says, no, they're not.
No. They're like, no.
Yeah. Fox Studios is like
2 games.
Yeah, Fox Studios is like, no, they're not. They are 2 totally different games. Now, this confused me because I believe we all saw the Ground Zeroes footage from last year at E3.
Yes.
With the snake-like man in the rain, all that. Snake comes up over the hill. He's like, "Sorry, I'm late." And I was like, "Oh man." The snake-like man returned in the long trailer, which is a glorified music video for Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Which confused me. I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, so is the Phantom Pain and Ground Zeroes the same game? Because, you know, there he is. He's in both. He was in the Ground Zeroes footage. He was in that trailer for the Phantom Pain. And, you know, other than Ocelot, there's really no Metal Gear Solid enemy that kind of lasts more than one game. So, Kojima said yes, Fox said no. And the rumor that I've heard so far is that Ground Zeroes may not be a full game. I'm assuming because the rumor is Ground Zeroes is a prologue to Phantom Pain. So I don't know. I have no idea. We're going to learn more eventually, and when we do, we will let you know, listeners. That is the news for this week. Now we have a triple play topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
We have 3 topics of the week. And we're going to start with PAX East, obviously, because that happened first. Nate, you went to PAX East.
I did.
You wrote an article about it. You wrote an article about your time at PAX East. You can find that article at VGU.TV. Nate, tell us about PAX East.
Alrighty. PAX East. This was my second time going. I went last year as well. Pretty cool show. Not gonna lie, I had a good time. A lot of energy. Like, I got there, I live pretty close to Boston. I live about half an hour, 45 minutes away from Boston. So and the show opened officially at 10, so I left at like 8 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Got there at like 8:30, hung out for a bit. But it was good that I got there early because the lines filled up very, very quickly. Saw a lot of, people milling around, a lot of cosplayers. I found out that a lot of girls like to dress up as Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2.
I did see a lot of PAX East Ezio,
Yeah.
female Ezio cosplay.
I definitely saw at least like 6 or 7 of them, if not more. Which,
Yeah.
they were very good costumes. They were very cool. Yeah. I could definitely see that costume working for like a female assassin protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
But so when I got there, the first thing I did was I went to some big showcase kind of closed off videos for some major games. The first one I went through was for Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which was pretty cool. They showed some cool, never before seen footage. They had some of the developers talking about the golden age of piracy and all that cool stuff. Then after that, I waited in line again for another exclusive video for Saints Row 4.
Oh, Saints Row 4.
Looks absolutely nuts.
Can't wait.
Oh my God. Can you mug someone and fly away?
Yes, you can.
There are lots of, I believe, Saints Row 4 is going to be, you are the president.
Yep.
And you have superpowers.
Yeah, the plot is this new alien race called the Zin, invade Steelport. So, in the demo video, you can see, like, this big Zin mothership is just, like, over the city. And there's, dark clouds and red lightning everywhere. So it starts off being very ominous. But then you see your character, and he's just bedecked in this, Uncle Sam outfit, with the top hat and the blue and the blue outfit and the big beard and everything. So basically, in typical Central fashion, because the president has been abducted, you are now the new president.
Yeah.
And
because that happens.
Yeah, of course,
Because, logically, the first person you're going to turn to is the leader of the Third Street Saints.
It's the most logical conclusion in that situation. Yes, I agree. So the first, the video starts out, they run around, they'll punch people in the nuts and, just doing all crazy stuff. They show off some of the new weapons, like the dubstep gun, which is exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
You aim it at people, and they just start breaking out in dubstep, and yeah.
Drop the bass, and then...
Yeah, exactly. Like, you aim it at, like, a car. Like, the car will gain hydraulics and just start bouncing, like... They close the video by showing off the new superpowers, which just look, insane. Like, you can run around at like the Flash.
Oh my God, I'm buying this game.
Now, we got a taste of this in the Saints Row the Third DLC pack, The Trouble with Clones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit where the nerdy kid injects you with a serum where there's literally no cars around, and so you have to use your super speed to run all the way across Steelport to a bridge. And when you do, you can fucking knock people out when you don't have weapons, so you get to use your melee attacks. Mm-hmm. They fucking explode when you punch them. And what's even better is you get little cards like biff and boff and pow and whatnot every time you do it.
So yeah, that's the thing. So the powers they showed off in the video were super speed. You can jump really high. You can leap tall buildings.
In a single bound?
single bound, yes, just like Superman or Spider-Man. You can when you're up in the air, you can dive down. When you're up in there, you can glide first. You can kind of do limited gliding, if you ever played Crackdown 2. Kind of like that. And while you're gliding, you can just dive down to the ground and touch the ground.
So why?
Yeah, and make it make a shockwave.
Yeah.
You can use other powers telekinesis, and you can shoot frost and freeze people. And the best thing is the guy who was narrating the video, he said that all these powers are just a small portion of the total amount of powers that you'll be able to get.
Right.
So as cool as these powers are, there's more that had to be revealed. And they also.
Oh, go ahead. Yep. I'm sorry. I thought you were done, but keep going.
Well, no, just one more thing. They talked about how they understand that some people are worried that giving the player all these powers just make the game not fun because of how easy it'd be. So they're putting in these really powerful supervillain enemies for you to fight.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they closed off the video by having this really big scary looking Zin guy called the Zin Warden just come down, and it's funny, your character does this kind of Matrix. Come over here and fight me kind of pose, and then just kind of go towards each other and clash, and that's how the video ends. So that was pretty cool.
That is exciting. Now, here's a couple things that I've learned.
Uh-huh.
I was looking at an article recently, and this kind of brought me down a little bit, because it sounds so awesome when you read it. Saints Row 4 had dinosaurs. Now, that sounds cool, sure.
Yeah.
It does. But the other piece sounded way more cool. And that was that instead of you being the president,
Stephen Colbert would be the president.
Stephen Colbert was the president. And I was like, man, that would have been so awesome. I could believe that more than, you are now the president.
Yeah. And they've always been good about getting, really, good, maybe not good, but cool voice talent for the game. They had Hulk Hogan in the third, and
they had Burt fucking Reynolds.
They had Burt Reynolds as the mayor of Steelport.
Yeah.
which I remarked to my friend. I said, hello?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a call. Sorry about that. We're gonna have to edit that out. Let me go ahead. I was saying to my friend, I said it's kind of funny that Burt Reynolds has been in both a Saints Row game and a Grand Theft Auto game now.
Mm.
He was Avery Carrington in Vice City.
That's right, he was. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. And he was himself in Saints Row. But anyway. Yeah, that's what I learned about Saints Row, and I was a little down. Dinosaurs, I could give or take, doesn't matter. But it was the Stephen Colbert news that kind of brought me down. I was like, oh man, that would have been so much fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on, Nate.
Okay, so after Saints Row, I was like, okay, I'm kind of done. For waiting in lines and just watching stuff. I want to get out there and play some stuff.
Yeah.
So I went out and I looked out for some stuff to play. I played what's the new game? Daylight, which is made by Zombie Studios, same people who did Blacklight Retribution, Blacklight Tango Down. That game looks amazing. It's basically the basic premise is you play as this urban explorer woman who somehow gets trapped in this abandoned hospital. It's first person. The only thing you really have with yourself is your cell phone, which uses a flashlight and as a compass.
Mm-hmm.
The big draw, though, is that every time you play, the game generates a new layout and so a new map for you to explore, and new spontaneous events or scenarios that can happen. So even though you're in the same setting, every time you play, a different thing can happen. So it was cool because there was a crowd gathered around the station, but every time someone went up to play, they'd always have a different experience. So I'd watch someone play and then I'd go to play, and it'd be like totally different, layout, totally different, atmosphere. So that looks really cool. I played, for PlayStation fans, I got to play The Last of Us. Oh, man. That game is freaking amazing. I waited in line for like an hour to play, and I'll tell you what, it was worth it.
I am so damn excited for The Last of Us.
Yeah.
That game is paid off, and I am ready.
It's cool. What I really liked about it was that there's action in it. Like, yeah, there's gunfights and, stealth kills and all that stuff. But the emphasis on survival is so great that it really forces you to think. Cause if you try to just go in guns blazing, that ain't gonna fly.
It's not gonna work. You have limited ammo. You saw in that E3 demo, it's you had 4 bullets.
Yeah. So you have to rely more on, you don't want to just rush into a situation. You have to really strategize and plan out what you're gonna do. I'll take this brick and I'll throw it over there to distract that guy, and then I'll stealth kill this guy, and then I'll run around this corner, and if this guy sees me, I'll try to shoot him before he calls up to his buddies or whatever. So yeah, that was really cool. I also found out that you'll have Ellie, you'll have her with you as a constant companion, but then there'll also be times where you'll actually have maybe a third or even a fourth person with you. So there'll be these situations where you'll have to plan out, what each other person does, and then kind of execute that. So there's sort of a tactical, overlay to the situation. Because again, you have to you have to kind of think and plan ahead what's going to happen.
I have 2 questions about
The
Last of Us. Did you manage to play a bit with the monsters, which I always forget are in the game because it's always. Yeah, they're always the trailers and whatnot. They're always focusing, and the gameplay. They're always focusing on the survival element of other people.
Yeah.
So I always tend to forget that there are monsters in this game.
Yeah, same here. So the demo actually did a good job of balancing out combat against both other humans and the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because they feel very different. The humans they behave like humans would. They take cover. They shoot back at you if they have guns. But the monster, I guess I don't know what they're called, but the zombie kind of things, on the other hand, they'll just try to kind of swarm you and rush you and just beat on you with their bare hands. Think of the 28 Days Later, the zombies from that.
Oh, right.
They have much more a swarm, just a kind of overwhelm you mentality. Which is both, so you have to approach these different situations, these different combat situations in different ways, because, what may work against one type of opponent doesn't necessarily work against another. Which I found was very, I'm sure other games have done before, but at the same time, because of this enhanced focus on survival, again, it's forcing you to kind of think in these new sorts of, ways.
Right.
So that was really cool.
My other question, now, like you said, you played Ellie is by your side.
Yeah.
We have all played BioShock Infinite.
Ah, yeah.
So we know that Irrational has got it right as far as not making that game a fucking 6-hour-long escort mission.
Yeah.
You don't feel like she's helpless. She is an asset. Elizabeth is an asset. She helps you. She throws you health and salt and money and whatnot. She is your partner. She is not your burden. Do you feel that that Ellie is the same way for Joel?
I'd say she is, but in a different sort of capacity, because from what I could tell in the demo, I don't think she has her own health bar or anything. But what's cool is that she's very good about dynamically reacting to what you do. So if you there's one situation where I this didn't happen to me, but I saw someone else playing where they were they tried to sneak up on this guy, and they failed. Like something happened, they got caught, they got turned around. Like so they started struggling with the guy, and like without missing a beat, Ellie just comes up and smacks the guy in the back of the head with a brick.
Oh.
And that ends the encounter. So she's very like if you like screw up, she won't be like she at least never really at a point where she's helpless, because like she's just like her AI is very good about doing the same thing you're doing, like kind of constantly thinking ahead and trying to plan out how to react, like both planning.
She adapts to your playstyle.
Definitely, yes. Okay. So I think I don't know if she'll be like as helpful as Elizabeth, like throwing you supplies and stuff, but right. I think she will be very good at complementing your playstyle, reacting to what happens dynamically. Like, there's never a point where she'll be standing still, like she'll
right.
be constantly moving around and repositioning herself and trying to do whatever she can to help you.
Well, that's good.
So, yeah, I would compare her to Elizabeth from BioShock, but in a different sort of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What else did you get to play, Nate?
Let's see. I played a bit of the co-op shooter Warframe.
Mm-hmm.
That just went to open beta for PC. Great game. I've actually been playing it for a while. I've been playing it since the closed beta. It's funny. I actually got to. So they had a couple of people from the team, just kind of handing out flyers for the game and posters and stuff, and they had those such you could play the new update because the open beta was introduced with a new update to the game. And so this one of the women who was part of the design team, she was like, "Oh, hey, have you played Warframe before?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I have." And she was like, "Do you recognize my voice?" And I was like, "Why would I recognize your voice?" It turns out she was one of the voice actors who supplies the voice of the person in the game who kind of guides you. Like when you play the game, there's this female being called Lotus who kind of guides you and like introduces you to the ropes and is like sort of the narrator of the game. And she was the voice actress for that. So I got to chat, with the voice actress from the game, which is kind of cool.
That's very awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of a fun little surprise because I totally didn't even. She was like, I didn't put two and two together until like 5 seconds after she asked me. I was like, "Oh my God, you're Lotus," and she's like, "Yeah." That's a very fun game. I would recommend it to anyone who has a decent PC. It's open beta now, so you don't have to, you can just sign up and play. What else did I play? I mostly just walked around and watched other people play stuff, because I didn't really feel like waiting in line for 2 hours to play other stuff. I really wanted to play Remember Me, but again, like, the line for that game was like 3 hours long. So,
yeah.
But I mean, from what I saw, it was pretty good. What else? Oh, I played I don't know if you guys have heard of this game. It's a new game, Ascend: New Gods.
I feel like I've vaguely heard of that, but remind me.
Yeah, it's coming out for consoles. It's going to be free to play. It's a free to play game that's coming to consoles, PlayStation 3, Xbox. I think it's coming to PC as well. I'm not sure. Basically, you play as like a demigod, and it's like sort of open world. It had sort of like the same deal as like Dark Souls. Like you'll see like kind of ghosts of other players. And they can, like, interact with you so much, like, they can, like, help or hinder you.
Yeah.
I mean, the demo that I played, it was more, obviously it wasn't, it was, like, the single-player portion. So, like, it was kind of a pretty, standard, medieval hack and slash. But the idea is that it's like, since you're a demigod, you're really big. So, like, regular humans, like, only come up to, like, your knee. So you can kind of, like, mess around with humans, kind of, like, pick them up and throw them around and stuff, which is kind of fun. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I definitely got to see a lot of other cool, sights and sounds. They had other, like, big videos, like, they had a bunch of, like, Watch Dogs, which is pretty cool. And obviously the big Capcom thing. They had a lot of, like, League of Legends and Smite and all those big MOBAs. They had a big thing for the new Marvel MMO that's coming out, the Marvel Heroes, I think it's called. That looks pretty cool.
The Lego or the
MMO one, like the
MOBA.
Yeah.
I know there's Infinite Crisis coming.
Well, they had Infinite Crisis for DC, and then for Marvel they had the new MMO that's coming out. I think it's called Marvel Heroes.
I had no idea that this was I knew of Infinite Crisis, but I didn't know that there was a Marvel Heroes game.
Yeah, Marvel Heroes. It's gonna be a free to play MMO. You'll play as like Marvel characters. Like you'll play as like Iron Man, Wolverine, others.
That's way more fun.
Blizzard also had their new the new card game, the digital card game they announced. I forget what it's called. The Warcraft one. They're also for PlayStation 3. They're also showing off the PlayStation 3 version of Diablo 3, which looks really cool. I played Diablo 3 for PC, and it was fun. Didn't really blow me away. But the PS3 version looks pretty cool. They're making some noticeable changes. Like there'll be a new dedicated dodge button. Like your character will be able to dodge and roll out of the way of attacks, which is pretty neat. The PS3 version will not have an auction house. So
say what?
Yeah, I know it's kind of well. Apparently, I don't know if you guys saw this, but apparently the auction house really hurt the game. Yeah,
makes sense now. Think about it.
Yeah. So the PS3 version will not have an auction house. Looks pretty cool. They had they also had this big Eve Online / Dust 514 section.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah. Apparently, there was this big event that happened over the last weekend, that was tying Eve and Dust 514 together. So that was a big showcase. They also announced a new expansion for Eve. So that they were kind of jointly promoting both Eve and Dust 514 with these two big reveals. The big event that happened, and then hey, Eve got another expansion.
Yeah.
And they also announced that Dust 514 is getting a new update in May, I think, May 6th.
May 6th.
Yeah, so they're definitely trying to, tie the two games closer together and, build up, hey, these two games really affect each other, blah, blah, blah. So that's pretty cool.
Right.
Overall, it was just a fun day, chat with some cool folks, meet some cool people, play some cool games. What more could you ask for?
Not much, honestly. Except maybe some
you can always ask for money.
Gear news.
It's true.
Except maybe some Metal Gear news, which is what happened at GDC. Now, like I said, listeners, Josh Mobley, CEO of VGU.TV, he was supposed to be on the show. Easter weekend claimed him. So we kind of have to cut short the GDC section of our triple play topic of the week, which is fine because we did kind of it was kind of like a pre topic of the week rant where we talked a lot about Metal Gear, but this is our chance to kind of do a little cleanup on GDC if there's anything else that we wanted to discuss about it. Because it's been a pretty big event. Of course, like I said, Metal Gear was the biggest news, and we talked a lot about that. So, if you guys don't have anything else to say about GDC, I don't know if you do. Do you?
Not really. It looks pretty good. I know a lot happened. It looks pretty cool, but yeah.
But, what about you, Alan?
That's pretty much it.
So Metal Gear Solid was the biggest news, and so we still had our GDC topic of the week. It was just kind of melded into the news, which means that we move on to our other topic of the week, our last topic of the week, BioShock Infinite.
Woo!
Came out this week. Now, Nate and I, we have finished it. Alan is trying to take his time. He's doing a really good job of it because Nate and I, we're done. We finished it. We finished it in 2 days. Alan is pretty far. He's about a third of the way through the game. But we're not going to go that far because this is not a spoiler cast. So we're going to say that the safest bet as far as spoilers are concerned is up to Monument Island when you first meet Elizabeth. I think that's a fair thing. What would you say, Nate? How far?
Yeah, I'd say we're good. That stretch of the game has been pretty well covered.
How far would you say that is in the game, though?
Up to Elizabeth, I'd say you meet Elizabeth within the first 45 minutes to an hour, based on how long you take. Maybe, again, it depends on how thorough.
It depends on how thorough you're looking around and exploring the game.
Like if you want to get out the extras and collectibles and stuff.
Or if you're really bad at it. Because, I think this is a great place to cap off the spoilers, because my girlfriend just last night did it. I mean, she was playing and she did she met Elizabeth for the first time. And I thought, well, you must be the only person left in the world that is this far. So, that's gonna be good. I mean, I'm obviously teasing. I actually let a friend borrow it, and she's just starting it up. So she's actually, but still, she's gonna finish it before my girlfriend does. I'd say that we're gonna spoil up to that point. If you don't want to hear anything about BioShock Infinite, if you haven't played it and you haven't gotten to Monument Island yet, don't listen. Start fast forwarding. Fast forward to our community section. But if you have, or if you don't care, then enjoy our conversation, because that's what we're about to talk about. BioShock Infinite, gentlemen, is an amazing game. Josh gave it an A, so now you don't really have to read that review, but it is a good review. Definitely read it. Because everybody knows that people don't actually read reviews, they just look at the grade. Score. They just look at the score. But it is a very, very good review. Definitely read it. And it's a very good game. Now, I went to the midnight lunch. I scooped that shit up immediately. You have never seen a group of friends scatter so quickly. Because we all went out to dinner, and then we went over to the GameStop. Now Josh got it on got it on PC. Fucking console trader. And his girlfriend got it on PC. I got it on PS3. My girlfriend actually was with us and decided last minute, right there at the midnight lunch, I'm getting this game, and she bought it right there on PS3. I'm sorry. My buddy. I had two friends there. One of them didn't have enough money to get it. The other got it on it. I'm back. Edit that out. One of my buddies didn't have enough money. Another one of my buddies doesn't have a PS3, so he got it on Xbox.
The system that shall not be named.
Yeah. The same one that you got it for.
Yes, that is true.
It's a shame. So, I got on PS3, obviously. And so, at the end of that midnight launch, we finally get our hands on our games, and we exit GameStop, and it was pretty much, well, see ya!
Peace!
And we scattered. We got the fuck out of there. My friend, the one that got on Xbox, like I said earlier, pent-up excitement. BioShock 1 is his favorite game of all time. And he finished BioShock Infinite in 24 hours. I finished it in 2 days. Could not stop. Did not want to stop. It's a very good game. Definitely buy it, listeners. So basically, if you don't know what BioShock Infinite is about, I don't know if you've played the first one, but oh, excuse me. The first one had people in 1960. A plane goes down. Into the Atlantic. You see this lighthouse. You're like, oh shit. You get in there because you're like, where else am I gonna fucking go? And then you find this bathysphere down below. You go down. It takes you to an underwater utopia, a city. An underwater city. It's on par with New York, Manhattan, all built at the bottom of the ocean. It's a city in ruins, ravaged by civil war. between two warring factions. And it's beautiful in a sad way. And people loved the game. People loved BioShock because it was so beautiful. It was so interesting. A whole city at the bottom of the ocean, and I don't know about you guys. I'm sure you played it, but me, every time I pass a window, I looked outside because I could not. You know, it's
beautiful game.
BioShock Infinite. BioShock 2 came out. It was all right. It was okay. It's worth one play. After that, you know. BioShock Infinite. Given the cards back to Irrational, because Irrational didn't do BioShock 2. BioShock Infinite takes it to the sky. Now, which is what we said like all week. Take it to the sky, motherfuckers! You actually have a name. You had a name in the first game, but you didn't really know it. Later.
I think it was Jack.
It was Jack.
Ryan, yeah.
It was Jack. Spoilers. I mean, BioShock is one of those games you don't want to spoil for anyone. So, you know, watch that. If you've never played BioShock, definitely play it. It's worth your time. Definitely. And if you haven't learned the twist by now, you are a lucky son of a bitch, but don't tempt fate any longer. Play the game. BioShock Infinite comes out. Here's what it's about.
Would you kindly tell me more?
Come on now. You actually have a name. You actually have a voice. Booker DeWitt, ex-Pinkerton agent. He owes a lot of money. That's the slogan for this game. Bring us the girl. Wipe away the dead. He's tasked to go to a city called Columbia. Find this girl locked up in a tower. Her name is Elizabeth.
Not the District of Columbia, but
Not the District of
Columbia.
Columbia. To find this girl, Elizabeth, she's locked up in a tower. Bring her back, wipe away his dead. Now, game opens up. He's in a boat. It's a rainy day. These two people are rowing him over to the docks. They're arguing over something or other.
Over if the woman is going to argue, or if the woman is going to row the boat. She's
yes.
like, why should I row the boat?
Yes, and the man is rowing. He's like, well, you could help, you know. Anyway, they have great dialogue. It's very good chemistry together. They pull up to the dock. Booker gets out. There's a big ass lighthouse, much like the first game. He gets in there, goes upstairs. It's much sinister. Goes in there. There's a man with a bag over his head. Says, "Don't disappoint us." It's all bloody. He's dead. Gets up there, up to the top of the lighthouse, and there's a gate. He's got a little. He's got a paper that he was slipped. Rings his bells. Opens up a lone chair. Now you're thinking to yourself, now what is this? If you don't know what it is, if you don't know what BioShock Infinite is, then this is for you. Obviously, if you've played it or if you know what it is, you know what this chair is for. He sits in the chair. He's like, I guess I'm doing this. Locked in, strapped in immediately. And then, like a rocket, shot up into the sky. There's a little window where you see, as you go up, break through the clouds, a city in the sky, supported by gigantic balloons and turbines and all sorts of things, and it's beautiful. Now this is 1912, so it's very old school. It's so gorgeous, listeners. You finally get your feet back on the ground, so to speak. You walk around and do this. You gotta find your way to Monument Island so that you can get that girl. Now, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about up to the point of Monument Island and how much we love it. Nate, Alan, you've been playing the game. Please talk to me about anything between the beginning and Monument Island that you love. Tell me about how much you love the game as well, without spoiling it, the rest of the game that you play.
I love the part where you kill Hitler.
Damn it, Alan!
Damn it, Alan! It's 1912. There's no Hitler.
I love that you can actually participate in the city.
Yes. There was listeners, there in the beginning of the game, you run across a pair, and it's a good chance to practice shooting, the shooting mechanics, because there are some gun games, some target games. It's very nice. I did it not just because I wanted to practice, but also because I wanted the prizes, because I thought I would need them. Also, here at the fairgrounds is where you get your first vigor possession. Vigors are much like plasmids from the first game. They you use your hand to shoot out some powers, crazy powers. Possession, well, it sends out a little ghost thing that possesses machines until you upgrade it. Then you can also possess people to fight for you.
And then interesting things happen when the power runs out.
Yes.
We're not going to say what it is, but it's interesting.
I'll go ahead and say what it is.
Okay.
For machines, they'll just turn back on you. But people will be so upset with their betrayal to their own kind that they will shoot themselves. They will commit suicide after being possessed once the effects of possession wear off.
And this has been done before in games like Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2 had this, where they'd stormtroopers would throw themselves out a window. But with this, you actually see the look on their. You can actually see the look on their face as they put the machine gun to their chest.
Yeah.
And shoot the 3 times.
Yeah.
It's so
blood
dark.
splattering out their back. This game isn't as dark as the first one, but it is still pretty dark. It's also, and I don't want to excuse it, but I kind of am by saying it's a product of the times. This game can get kind of racist.
Yes, it can.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Now, obviously, these racist intentions are in no way reflected upon the group at Irrational. This is a product of the times. Think about it, 1912, the first instance of racism, really, that you really get a chance, you get a taste of, is you get to this stage, and they
Matt, just to say, to be fair, everything before 1980, racist.
Everything before 1980 is pretty racist, but this, a little less acceptable. But the first instance that you're really treated to the racism, you get to this stage. This guy is talking his game. They bring out an interracial couple, and they hand you a baseball, and they say, and whoever wins gets to throw it at the couple. Now, of course, you get the chance to either throw at the couple and be a dick, or you could throw it at the announcer.
Be a cool guy.
Guy. Hey.
Now, I assume all of you guys have threw it at the announcers.
I tried to.
You tried to, yeah. When you try to throw it at the announcer, someone stops you, notices the mark on your hand. Booker has a mark on his right hand, on the back of his right hand, AD, which is a sign of the false shepherd. And that is another bit about this game that's very intriguing. Zachary Hale Comstock created Columbia. He brought that city to the sky. Well, he helped.
He's he's the Andrew Ryan of the game.
He's the Andrew Ryan of the game. He is pretty much what you call the president of Columbia, a spiritual leader. He is the prophet.
Yes.
He is the prophet because he predicts all these things. He predicts the lamb. He predicts the false shepherd. There are posters everywhere of the lamb. The false shepherd will lead the lamb astray. The lamb is Elizabeth. The false shepherd, there's a poster of a black hand with the letters AD on it, which you happen to have on your hand.
And hilarity ensues.
Making you, Booker DeWitt, the false shepherd. This game is full of mysteries.
But do these mysteries get answered?
Some do.
Because we don't want Lost, the game.
Some do. I mean, it's a very deep game. Nate, you would agree with me.
I will agree with you.
At the end of the game, you'll realize, man. What were we gonna say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna mention, like, the whole. I remember leading up to the game, I've read a lot of interviews and saw a lot of videos of, like, interviews with Ken Levine talking about the issue of the racism in the game. And I liked his approach to it. He said, like, like you said, Matt, like, this was just, this was the times that they lived in, like, racism was a big part of it. And he talked about, Father Comstock in particular, saying that, Comstock was the sort of villain who doesn't see himself as a villain. Like, he legitimately feels like, that, favoring the white man and, yada, 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 all this religious stuff. Like, he felt like that was the best way to, lead his people. And, like, I think it resonated a lot with, in a lot of popular contemporary, movies and books and whatever, villains don't see themselves as villains. Like, they see themselves as, the good guys. And I think that, Comstock was very representative of that archetype. Like, when you see Comstock in the game, like, you hear his speeches, you hear his conversations, you hear, the way that he talks. Like, he very much sounds like, he's trying to be a good person.
Yes. And he's trying to do what's best for his city.
Exactly.
Now, like I said, this game, you don't realize it till the very end. But once those credits roll, you're going to be like, man, that was deep. But there are a lot of mysteries. Not all of them are answered. For example, and this isn't really a spoiler, but, well, I guess it was kind of answered, but I would have liked a little more information on the relationship between Elizabeth and Songbird. A little more details on that. I understand what it was, but I would have liked more.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I feel like Songbird could have been
more.
I could tell, like, they were trying to make Songbird compelling, but given the amount of screen time that he or she or whatever it had, it didn't really. Like, you're right. I felt like they should have done more. And you know, maybe they mailed them DLC or something like that. I don't know.
I will give them credit for this. Now, I expected Songbird I expected to have to fight off Songbird.
Yeah.
I'm expecting that right now, actually.
I expected to fight off Songbird at some point with, like with the big sisters in BioShock 2, or the big daddies. But, to their credit, that didn't really have to happen, because, which is good, because the big sisters got really tired.
Yeah.
After a while.
So
did the big daddies.
Ken Levine said that after BioShock 1 came out, the boss battle at the end, he just thought that's how games ended.
Yeah.
He said if looking back on it, he wouldn't have put it in now.
Yeah.
But it was just something that he thought had to.
Yeah, a game had to have a final boss fight, so.
Yes.
Can I just bring it back to, like, still, like, during the fair and stuff?
Yes, of course.
The handyman.
The handyman.
Oh, man.
I expected there to be more handymen, but there weren't.
Am I the only one that felt just terrible looking at how, like, he used the giant hand to shield his face?
Oh, yeah.
I felt horrible. I don't know why.
He looked scared.
Yeah.
This man and machine, hybrid man and machine is just, scared. There's too many people, too many lights. The sun is too bright. He's trying to shield himself from them.
And I heard one of the NPCs say he looks scared, and the other said, with all the power he has, why should he even be scared?
Yeah.
And he does. Not a spoiler. But Alan, I don't think that you've faced off a handyman yet.
I have not.
Yeah, no.
But
that
happens later. There's not a lot of handyman. I expected there to be more. There's a lot of Iron Patriots.
Oh man.
A lot of Iron Patriots.
Oh yeah.
Which are listeners. Iron Patriots are tall robots with chain guns, with a head that is either George Washington, Ben Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson.
I think it was also Abraham Lincoln too.
Because I think at the end it was Comstock.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Why would they?
Yeah, because
they didn't like Lincoln. So why the hell? Yeah, you're right.
They didn't like Lincoln.
I noticed that they had like a tribute to John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was the Order of the Raven. Yes, and because they are not. They are supporters of the slavery.
Yeah, they talked about how
terrible slavery.
Yeah, they talked about how Abraham Lincoln was like viewed as a villain because when he introduced the Emancipation Proclamation, they were like, oh, what the hell? So when Booth assassinated Lincoln, they were like, oh my god, this guy's awesome.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? The Iron Patriots are big and menacing and kind of cumbersome. Handymen are scary.
They're terrifying.
They come down, they fly down, and they've got electric powers. So they'll swing their large arms up, bring them down, and get this big shockwave through the ground. And if you're on a skyline, you better watch yourself, because they'll grab hold of the skyline and electrocute it. So
you pretty much, no matter where you are, you're not really safe from them.
No, to get through a handyman, you'll want to do some distance killing. You'll want to do long range damage. I actually managed to get the trophy for only shooting in the heart, killing a handyman by only shooting in the heart, which was surprising because I didn't expect that I got that.
Yeah, according to this, when my brother pre-ordered the game, he also got the strategy guide, and according to the strategy guide, that's like one of the hardest, if not the hardest achievement to get. Like, harder to get than beating the game in 1999 mode.
1999 mode is gonna, oh man, I will never platinum that game. Anyway, so, you go to the fair, do all that, and, afterwards, you get to the Order of the Ravens. There's a lot of cult stuff. It introduces a new villain, a new kind of enemy, the kind of guy that, he's got he turns into ravens and flies around the map to shoot you from, to attack you from different angles. And that's where you get, you already have Demon's Kiss, the vigor that is basically incinerate. Devil's Kiss, sorry. I thought it was Demon.
Oh yeah, against the firefighter, right?
Yes. And what was firefighter? Was another one.
Fireman.
Fireman.
Fireman. That's right. Fireman.
I love the names they give to these characters, these enemies. Yeah. I love how generally scared the policemen were when they said, "Oh no, here comes a fireman."
Yeah. Murder of Crows. You get that after you beat that guy. Murder of Crows is an interesting one where you get to throw fucking crows that like peck the shit out of them.
It's just the birds all over again.
Oh, yeah. Now, enough about the vigor stuff because we've made our point. Lots of vigors, lots of cool powers. When you get to Monument Island, here's one of my favorite parts, and I actually have a story to go with this. When I go to it. You're gonna meet that girl that can wipe away your debt. And it's very strange, it's very eerie, because you walk in, you get into that statue, because it's a gigantic statue. You get in there, and there are windows that just like, you can see inside. And the first thing that like horrified me, the first window you see, you're like, what is this? It's just a room. You're like, huh. And then you find the specimen tracker. The specimen tracker and it tells you where she is next. You go there, and there's a window, and then there she is. She walks up. She comes up right next to the window. And here's what horrified me. She starts adjusting her hair, and and immediately I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, she doesn't realize I'm here.
One-way mirror, man.
I was like, she doesn't know that she's being watched. And so when we finally meet her in the library, she throws some books at you. She screams at you, and you try and you calm her down, and she reaches out to you. She says, "Are you real?" And this is when you first notice she's missing a finger, which is another mystery in the game.
Well, she's missing the tip of like her pinky, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's missing like half of the pinky.
Yeah, and she like put like a thimble on it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this whistle comes out, this music, and a statue nearby starts glowing, and you start hearing the songbird screeching, coming down. She tries to calm him down, and you try and get the fuck out of there. And then all of a sudden you get to the elevator. She's pounding on the button, and then boom, the door swings open. And you get your first glimpse of the songbird. You'll see it in the trailers, listeners.
Well, there's something that happens in the
last room. She sees one of the rooms and she notices that she's been...
No, not that. I forgot where it is, but it's in the statue where she opens up a tear for the first time.
Yes. That's right. In one of the rooms, she opens up a tear for the first time. This is what Elizabeth can do. She opens up tears to another world.
I think she's in the elevator when she sees a bee.
No. She's she's in the art room. And she's painting a picture of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And then she opens up a tear, and you can see Paris.
And isn't me everybody wants to rule the world starts playing.
Everybody wants to rule the world starts playing.
Which, does that mean that she opened up a tear to the future?
A tear to the future, to the 80s.
The Paris thing, you see a movie theater and the sign.
There's a movie marquee, and it's The Revenge of the Jedi, which is what Return of the Jedi was originally called.
But it's in French, because it's in Paris.
It's in French, but it says...
You see the word Jedi at the end.
Yes. So this is at least 1981, I believe, is when it came out.
83.
83. Well, 83. Anyway, so that's what Elizabeth can do.
And the moment that happened, I went absolutely apeshit because I immediately thought, what the hell's going on here? Who is this girl? What is with her?
Yes. So anyway, well, we're fast forwarding back. Your first glimpse of the songbird. Songbird looks out. He's got his glowing red eyes. He's angry. He can see you, and he's screeching in the elevator doorway. When all of a sudden, here comes the elevator. It's pushing him down. Comes down. The elevator crashes. You got to get the fuck out of there. So you get out, and when you finally get to the top of the, because that's what where do we go? Up. And so they keep going up, and when they finally get to the top, where do we go? Your first skyline. And he takes Elizabeth in his arms, and he jumps down to the skyline. Great score during this part, by the way. And you're just sliding down on the skyline. It's so exciting. You see, and you occasionally see songbirds swooping down in front of you, and it's just frightening as all hell. And then finally, he takes down a skyline, and you start falling. You two are just flying through the air. You fall into water, and Songbird just plunges in after you, trying to grab at you. But can't handle the pressure. One of his eyes cracks. He starts screaming and bleeding. Flies the fuck out of the water, and you wake up on a beach. And that, listeners, is where we're going to stop with spoilers. But it's amazing. That scene alone, is phenomenal. I love that part.
Just the love in your voice when you were describing it says it all.
The first skyline is amazing. And like I said, I love that score. It's so intense. It's so scary. Just watching Songbird swoop back and forth trying to kill you. It's scary and it's frightening. And I have a funny story for this part. The part where Songbird pokes his head through the elevator door. I'm watching my girlfriend play last night, and she's at this part, and she doesn't play a lot of games. I wouldn't say she's bad. And she's listening to me, so she's listening to this. Well, I mean, not right now, obviously, because we're recording. But when it goes up, she's listening to this. So she's not bad, but she's not great. I love you. She's doing a lot of exploring, which is what you do in these BioShock games. You want to get a feel for the atmosphere. You want to see everything. And she gets to this point where Songbird pokes her head through the elevator door, but she's so busy looking at everything else, she literally misses everything. She misses Songbird. She misses the elevator pushing it down because she's literally staring at a wall. I'm like, not even paying attention. Something cool is going down. One of the best parts of the game, and you're just looking at a wall. She goes, I don't want to play anymore with you watching me.
What are you doing? You missed it!
It was like, God damn it. Like, do you understand how important this is to me? She's like, you fucking played it already. Don't even get mad at me. I was like, I want to talk about it.
You don't understand.
So, it's a funny story. Anyway, that's where we're going to end spoilers. But if we want to talk more about this game, is there anything else that we want to mention? Because let's face it, the call itself. We've been on the phone for a little while longer, but the call itself is nearing the 3 hour mark, which means that we're pretty far into this podcast. We've been going for a while. We still have community section to do. So,
one element of the game I want to touch on, just real quick. It definitely doesn't have like a sort of creepy horror vibe that the first BioShock had, but that doesn't mean it's not exhilarating or scary or, because there definitely are those moments where like you'll be like freaked out, like Matt said, especially the parts of Songbird, because Songbird is a scary looking motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
and Nate, we can't say anything for in front of Alan. We can't do details, but late in the game there is a section where you get that feeling of eeriness and scariness, and there is a very cheap but so exhilarating jump scare.
Oh God, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's one of those. Let's put it this way. All right, people who have played the first BioShock know that when you're going around in the medical area, you find a dentist's office, and you find, I believe, a plasmid or you find a key item in the dentist's office, and as you're going in there, trying to find it, you keep seeing these rose petals, which is a telltale sign of the what are they called? Nate, do you remember?
The rose petals.
The Houdini splicers.
Oh yeah.
Which can teleport and they use kind of magic to teleport and they're kind of like the crow guys.
Misdirection and because they're magicians and stuff like that. Yeah,
magicians. So, when you find and you only see shadows, you only see the rose petals, and you're like, oh shit, he's fucking coming. And this is your first instance with this guy. You finally find the item. It's in this back corner of the room. You turn yourself around, and there he is, staring at you right in the fucking face. It's that kind of
controller and scream like a little girl.
It's that kind of moment late in the game where you're going to do something. I can't spoil it, not for Alan. I'm saying this much. He's not going to know when it is, though. You're going to do something. You're going to turn around, and boom, there this motherfucker is right in your face. You're like, oh my god!
But anyway, yeah, like the game may lack early on in the creepy tone, but that doesn't mean the creepy tone is not there. Like, I think the game still does a very good job of capturing that sort of, immersive, like, drawing you in, and then at certain points just, creeping the hell out of you. Or, and other certain instances, like, just straight up jump scaring you.
Yeah. I've said this before. Now, the friend that I got it on Xbox, BioShock is his favorite game of all time. Of all time. He loves it to death. It's very near and dear to his heart. And he said, when he finished it, he said, look, I love this game. It's a close second, but BioShock's still my favorite. And I said, I gotta disagree with you. I said, I love this game, and I think it's better. Now, I agree with you that it's not the same vibe. This game, I explained it a few times, and this is how I'll explain it here. BioShock Infinite is more of an adventure game. But BioShock 1 was a survival horror game.
I would agree, yes.
And but it's no less great. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, they're both great. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, they're both great. Now, I personally feel that BioShock Infinite is better than the two. Because I've seen a lot of reviews. They say, the middle has a lot of padding for BioShock Infinite. Let's make something clear. All that padding doesn't matter. You can tell it's padding, but it's still fucking intriguing.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's nowhere near as bad as the padding in the first game. First game, it was like, get pieces of this gun, and get pieces of this suit, and all that. And it's like, I don't care. Everything in that game, from start to finish, it's astounding. And even when you feel like you're like, this is padding, it doesn't matter. It's still intriguing. It's still fun.
Yeah.
Another reason, Alan, you can see, we're looking at Columbia in its heyday. We didn't get that with Rapture. We saw it after the fall.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to see Columbia before everything went to shit.
Yep.
And finally, and the best reason, I should say, Ken Levine himself said, in the first game, after the twist, that story kind of loses its steam. I mean, wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah,
it is.
I would.
Because once the story is done, or once the twist is done, there's nothing building up to it. Yeah, there's no mystery anymore. You know everything now.
Yeah, I felt when the first time I played BioShock, after the twist, like when I realized like there was more gameplay after the twist, I just felt like, okay, I'm just playing through it just to finish it now. Like,
you're just like, how is there more game after that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's still like a whole third act to that game. So, it loses its steam. It's still a good game, but it loses its steam after the twist.
Yeah.
That's not the case with this one.
Oh no.
Oh, they pushed all of that twist to the very end. So you're left scratching your head, wondering what the answers to these questions are till the very end. So, what is Songbird? Who is Comstock? How is Columbia real? Who are these people that keep following me around? What is Elizabeth? What happened to her finger? Who is Booker DeWitt?
Yeah, my brother had a great analogy.
What's up with those couples?
Why is it called Infinite? You will find these things out at the end.
My brother had a great analogy for like playing the game and like imagining like if someone's playing the game and it's narrating to you and like you're like so you're maybe like 2/3 of the way through and you're saying to yourself, oh okay, I'm starting to figure out what's going on, and then the game just says to you, oh, you think you know what's going on? Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Like Josh tried to tell me the other day. It was like I'm pretty far in. He was like, me and my girlfriend have some theories. I was like, you're not even close.
Well,
I've already beaten it by that point.
Because you are wrong. whatever you're thinking, nope, no.
Like, literally, I had already beaten it. And he goes, yeah, I'm pretty far in. Like, I'm almost done. Me and my girlfriend, we have some theories. And I was like, and I immediately was like, you're not even close. And then he finished it today. He goes,
I wasn't even close.
he goes, I didn't see it coming. I was like, I told you. It's, the best way that I can describe the ending is, it's very deep, and it's a total mind fuck.
Oh yeah.
And it's astounding. My personal score, 9.8 out of 10.
Same here.
So that's how I feel about BioShock Infinite. Alan, what are your last thoughts on BioShock?
It is, well, Irrational has a tendency to make fantastic games, and this is no different.
Yes.
Here.
Exactly.
I do have one question though.
Oh, go ahead.
Will I find the connection to BioShock?
Oh, there's a connection.
We're not going to ruin anything for you, but there's definitely...
There's a connection.
Play the game and see.
You're going to love it. You're going to be like, I'll tell you this much, Nate. When it happened to me, I was like, what? Holy, what the fuck? Like, you've never, like, I'm a talker, but you've never seen my mouth open that big.
You could hear the silence in the room.
I was just like, oh my god, what? There's a connection, and you're gonna love it. You're gonna be like, holy shit.
Okay, now I'm starting to get excited.
It's very awesome. See, he's like, fuck a bunch of taking my time, I gotta finish this fucking game.
You know, I may actually consider skipping Easter with my family tomorrow to just play this game.
See, you're Jewish, it doesn't matter.
No, Mom, I can't go. I have to finish BioShock Infinite.
You're like, it's against my religion and BioShock, okay?
I can't let Ken Levine down.
So.
I bought Freedom Fighters, I have to beat this.
So, and as we said earlier, listeners, Elizabeth is more of a partner. It's not like a long escort mission. She's a partner. She throws you salts, which fuel your vigors. She throws you health.
She'll throw you a gun or ammo.
She'll throw you ammo or a gun or all that. I love the little dialogue. Like, it's just the little things, you know. Like you're low on. You're not looking so well. Here, that'll do.
Here, want some money? Catch.
Yeah. So, and you know, and she's never like prods you. She's never like, well, come on, let's go. Like lots of NPCs do. She'll say to you.
She'll spot useful items for you, like lockpick.
She'll be like, hey, grab that lockpick. We might need it later. Cause she can unlock doors. And sometimes you need extra lockpicks for certain doors.
Or you can have her unlock chests for, like, say, 5 lockpicks.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So you know, she's helpful. And if you're just going around, you wanna look around, you wanna explore, she'll indulge you. She'll sit down, she'll lean against the wall, she'll just wait, or she'll look around herself. She is not gonna badger you and be like, "Come on, let's go."
She never feels like a hindrance, and she never feels like an annoyance.
Exactly. This is a phenomenal game, listeners. Like I said, like Nate said, our personal grade would be 9.8 out of 10. Josh Mobley gave it an A. You can find that review on VGU.TV, which I think an A is like, I think it's like right on the cusp of a 9.8. I think the A's cut off at 9.7. So, but yes, we love this game, and look for a spoiler cast. We're gonna have one pretty soon, I would say, because Josh is done, Nate is done, I'm done. Alan after today, you're going to want to be done.
Yes.
Um,
You know, I don't have to sleep tonight. I don't have to.
you don't really have to. It's not like you got anything going. Nate Gamer has a game. I don't know how far he is.
He's probably going to be busy.
He's probably busy. He's been moving this week.
James talking about getting it too.
He originally had the BioShock Infinite review, but he was moving this week, and he wanted to finish Luigi's Mansion and do that review. So, Josh did the review. But I know that he has it. I don't know when he's going to finish it. I don't know if Tom has even played it. I don't know. Regardless, at least Josh, Nate, and myself will be available for a spoiler cast in the near future for BioShock Infinite. I can't wait to talk more about it and become unfettered and not have to worry about
great.
not have to worry about censoring myself for spoilers, because as you can tell, Alan, you said earlier that you could just tell in my voice how much I loved it.
Yeah.
I love this game. I think it's an amazing game. Now I don't know if it's my favorite game of all time, but I do know that it is probably in my top 5. It is a very, very good game. And I urge all of you listeners to go out, buy it immediately. Do you have money? If you have the money, throw it down. Seriously. Anything else? Final thoughts on BioShock Infinite before we move to the community questions? Because, man, we are running long, but like I said, big DualShock Super Show.
I think I'm good.
How about you, Alan?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Now we're moving to our community sections of the podcast. We begin our community questions with questions from our audience. And Albert's come in. He's asked us a few questions. Since we're running long, usually we take all these questions and we kind of mull them over and take a while on them, kind of explain ourselves. Let's try to zip through them, because like I said, it's Easter weekend. We've got some things that we need to do, and we're at like 3 hours now. So, our first question. In general, what trophies do you find most frustrating? Difficulty, multiplayer, etc. I personally say multiplayer. Difficulty can be hard, but at least it looks like it could be attainable. Like even 1999 mode in BioShock Infinite, you could do it. It's gonna be a bitch and it's gonna be frustrating and you're gonna hate yourself, but you could do it if you really set your mind to it. Multiplayer is different. It hinges on other people.
Yeah.
And that's why I got a friend David, we always say the same thing. Multiplayer trophies are bullshit. It's just like when we both got Tomb Raider and we were like, man, could have gotten that platinum, except why would I want to spend hours in a mediocre multiplayer trying to get rank 60? So, we hate multiplayer trophies. Multiplayer trophies are bullshit, and that's why I think they're the most difficult, because they hinge on other players. How about you guys?
For me, multiplayer.
How about you, Nate?
I'd say the same. Getting to a certain rank probably isn't that bad, especially if it's a low rank. I remember like in the Assassin's Creed games, like there was like an achievement or trophy to get to like level 20 in the multiplayer, which isn't that bad. But I think like the ones where like you have to like meet a certain criteria that's based off other players, like like kill this other player in a certain way like 10 times or something like that. Like those, I don't like those. Those are annoying. Or like getting to the max rank sucks too. Like I don't have time to grind out to level 80 or 100 in the game.
There was a trophy, I think it was for Killzone. It was a Killzone 2. It was like be in the top like 1% or something of multiplayer for like a week. And I was like, Jesus. See, that's impossible. Some people have done it. I don't know how, but they've done it. Okay. Our next question. All of these are from Albert, by the way. Thank you, Albert, for sending us questions. We have some BioShock Infinite questions, but I want to touch on the other ones first. What series do you think is the best of this generation? I would say BioShock, and you'd think I would after, all that ranting and raving about BioShock Infinite, but it has to be consistent. BioShock 2, not a great game. Not a terrible game, but not a great game. Of this generation, I'd have to say Mass Effect.
I would agree. Loved all the Mass Effect games.
I'd probably have to say Uncharted.
Uncharted?
Yeah.
See, I wanted to say Uncharted, but I thought to myself, no, Mass Effect, it just does it better,
Yeah, but with that ending,
like it's more
lasting.
Yeah, the ending, whatever.
I didn't hate the ending. Like, I was like, I get it. But it was like, Now, Uncharted is a great series, but Mass Effect, it's all so amazing.
Yeah.
So maybe that lasts, 10 minutes, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Like, it's like I said with Metal Gear Solid 2 earlier. People played it when it first came out. They were burned. Because they were tricked. They were like, wait, we're not playing a Snake anymore? What the fuck? I played it years later. I already knew about Raiden. So I just played it and enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't get to play Mass Effect 3 on launch. I heard about the ending. People were not happy. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to set myself up for disappointment. But I wanted to play it, so I played it. And by the end of it, I was like, wait, this is what you guys were angry about? Come on.
And honestly, if you, personally, yeah, the original ending was kind of whatever. But I think if you, play the new Citadel DLC and then, see the extended cut ending, that's fine. That's enough closure for me.
Right. Okay. Let's see. What are your thoughts on season passes for games? I think they can be handy.
They can.
I mean, it's nice to know, oh, this is coming, and I don't have to worry about digging out my wallet again. Okay. I don't usually get them, just because I'm usually pretty cheap. Money's always tight around here.
Yeah.
But I'm not against them. I just don't have the money for them.
Yeah, they're definitely convenient. The only game I've ever gotten the season pass for was Assassin's Creed 3, and I did not regret it. I think those were good DLC offerings. I think it depends on the game, and,
Yeah. Now, it obviously depends on the game. Yeah. There's always the bad thing where you realize that the game was bad, and you already got the season pass, and you can't return them, much like Aliens Colonial Marines. Alan.
Yeah, so I regret mine.
So, yeah, it's not always the best, but I mean, Alan, I think that you'd probably agree that for the most part, season passes they're a good idea.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Some BioShock questions. What vigor from BioShock Infinite would you like to have in real life? This is a tough one, actually.
Oh, it's very easy for me.
All right, you go ahead and start us off then.
Electricity.
You want Shock Jockey?
Yeah.
I think Shock Jockey is a good one. And it's one of those that, you always want to have on you. I remember I always used to, in the original, I used to always default over to Electrobolt. I didn't hold on to, it's different with BioShock Infinite and the original. And, you had all the guns, all the plasmids at your disposal. Now, you can only hold 2 guns at a time in Infinite, and you can only switch between 2 vigors at a time. You have access to all the vigors, but you have to literally stop your combat to pick one. If you want a different one if you have possession.
The 2 that you have equipped.
If you have possession and Devil's Kiss, and you're like, I want to use Murder of Crows right now, you literally have to stop combat, go into your wheel, and pick Murder of Crows. There you go.
Speaking of which, Murder of Crows is probably the one I want in real life. Only because I think it's really cool. I mean, some of the other ones are cool too. I like Charge. Undertow was kind of fun, only because you just knock people off the edges really easily. But yeah, I'd probably go with Murder of Crows.
I like Bucking Bronco. I think that of all of them, Bucking Bronco would be the one. Bucking Bronco would be the one. If if Vigors and Plasmids were real, in the real world, Bucking Bronco would be the one that, like, you could easily get away with.
Yeah.
Like, people wouldn't come after you, because if you're just, like, trying to act like an asshole and you're bucking these guys up in the air, like, you're like, assholes, and then you just walk away, they're trying to give you a hard time, you're like, Bucking Bronco, yeah, well, I'm out of here.
Peace.
Yeah, I'd use electricity for just basically, like, powering a car, or I'd basically do Infamous.
I've always said, I think there was we had a question a long time ago. It's like, what kind of in-game item would you like to have? And I wanted to say Cole's Infamous powers, but the others were like, that's not an item. So I was like, fucking Plasmids then. Electro Bolt, because I always thought that having the electric powers would be really cool. And the last question: would you rather live in Columbia or Rapture? And let's say that no revolution or uprising happens. So, always peaceful, always nice. Columbia or Rapture? Nate.
Oh boy, that's a tough call.
Again, another easy one for me.
All right, Alan, start us off.
Yeah.
Columbia, because in Rapture, I'm scared of. I'm afraid of, say, falling into water. Just the fact of, like, say, having to live underwater in an Atlantis type city, I'd just be terrified every day of, say, a shark or a bull shark just trying to smash it into the glass.
Yeah.
In Colombia,
it's a tough one for me because, like, I have both an irrational fear of, like, heights and, like, of being underwater.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with Columbia because it just seemed more aesthetically pleasant to me. I mean, I'm sure Rapture was pretty pleasant too before it went to shit, but I'd probably just go with Columbia just to be a safe bet.
I mean, with Rapture, you have to deal with the water and the sea animals. With Columbia, you just have to deal with the racism.
Yeah, I think I'd rather fall to my death than drown.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I'm with you, Nate, that I am afraid of heights. I'm afraid of drowning. But I'm also afraid of roller coasters, which is what those skyhooks or what those skylines are pretty much reminiscent to. So, and as beautiful as Columbia is, as beautiful as being able to see the sky would be, gonna have to go with Rapture on this one. I'd rather live in Rapture because drowning, not quick, but I mean, I think I'd rather drown than fall to my death from fucking God only knows how high. Like, at least I'm like, well, at least I know it's coming. And it's gonna be quicker than falling to death. So, those are our questions for the week. We actually don't have. We never thought of a question for this week.
Actually, you know what? Why not have it be which place would you rather live, Rapture or Columbia?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a pretty good.
That is a good one. You know what? Thank you, Albert. Before we do that, though, we're going to talk about last week's questions. We had 2 questions. What is your favorite bad game that you enjoy? Which I thought that was a bit of a redundant phrasing. What is a bad game that you enjoy? A game that everybody has said, look, I don't like this. I hate it. It's terrible. It got bad reviews along the line. But yet you're just sitting there thinking to yourself, I don't know what it is, but I love it. We don't have any answers for that one, actually, which is a shame. So, Nate, since you weren't here last week, why don't you give us an answer for that?
Silent Hill Downpour.
Downpour?
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
it got pretty not
mediocre
good
reviews.
But me and my brother, I mean, we're both big Silent Hill fans, and we both actually really liked it, so.
Yeah, my buddy David, he's also a big Silent Hill fan. He loved it too. So, but I heard that it was not very good. Another game, I mentioned this last week, I mentioned Kane and Lynch. Another game that lots of people don't like, and I'm talking about Dave reminded me because he likes it too. Resident Evil 5.
Yeah.
I don't hate Resident Evil 5. I don't think it's as good as the others, but I don't hate it.
So that was pretty good. Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah. And 6 is very good too. I know a lot of people weren't big fans of 6 either. But I loved 6. I thought 6 was great. Not as good as 4, but 6 was great. Our second question, we have one answer to, although, Nate, I'm going to get your opinion on this one as well. What game, we talked about the trophy patent last week. Nate, I don't know if you heard about the trophy patent. The trophy patent, basically, Sony is putting out a trophy patent where they can touch up on old games like Resistance, Fall of Man, Heavenly Sword, or even the PS2 classics, and just put in remote triggers into the game for trophies without ever having to alter it. You know, I'm never having to alter the original game. I said that maybe finally I'd see some fucking Grand Theft Auto trophies. And we asked, what games would you like to see have added trophies under the new trophy patent? Albert said, if Tony Hawk's Underground and Bonk's Adventure had trophies, that would be amazing. He also mentions Kingdom Hearts, but he says it will, because Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD Remix is coming. So, it's coming this fall, and it's probably going to have trophies. Nate, what do you think? If you could add trophies to one of the old games, what would you think? Some PS2 classic or an old PS3 game?
Probably God Hand.
God Hand, huh?
Yeah. Like, I remember I played it back in the PS2 days, loved it. I've been tempted to, like, rebuy it for PS3, because I know it's on the PSN store. But I feel like as sad as I am to say this, I've just gotten so conditioned to, like, having in-game achievements or trophies or whatever, that it would just kind of...
It's harder.
Yeah, it would irk me that I was playing a game that didn't have trophies.
Because you're just like, you know, I could be getting trophies.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you know, it doesn't deter from the enjoyment. It's just...
Yeah, I'm sure I'd still enjoy the game.
You like to see some trophies. Otherwise, you feel like you're wasting time, you know?
Like, you do something really cool, and you're like, where's the trophy icon? Like, why? Yeah. But
yeah. Hold on. See? Oh, great timing, computer. Well, Google Drive is like, sign you up. It was like, dick. What do you... I'll open up this app. Jesus Christ. So, while I don't have it open, I do know that next up we want to talk about question of this week. And Alan, like you said, this question, Albert brought us a great question, and that is, see, now I'm blanking. Which would you rather live in, Columbia or Rapture? So share with us, listeners, your answers to these questions, to this question. It's a very good question, and I appreciate Albert for the question. I'm gonna tweet at him later and be like, hey man, thanks a lot. That was really good. We'll use that for this week. Anyway, I think that is it for today. We had a long show. The big DualShock Super Show. The show that fell apart at the last minute, but turned out okay. So, thank you, listeners, so much for listening to the VGU.TV's PlayStation podcast, The DualShock Show. Please visit the site, VGU.TV. Hang out on our forums. Tweet at us, at VGU.TV. You can also find us on YouTube at VGU.TV Official. We're also on Facebook. Find us, VGU.TV. DualShock Show has Facebook and Twitter as well. You can find us at DualShock Show for both. Like and subscribe to our iTunes under DualShock Show. Rate and subscribe. 5 stars. Come on. You know you want to. We're funny.
We deserve it.
We talk a lot.
We talk for 3 hours.
Like I said, DualShock has a Facebook and Twitter. Find us at DualShock Show for both. Or if you want to tweet at us individually, Alan is at the Alan Muir. That's TheAllanMuir. Nate is at Nate Hohl. NateHohl. I am at Mattman07. That's 2 T's, in case you're wondering. Tom is not here, but he's also a host of the show. So give him a little love on Twitter at Gaming Hobbyist. Or if you want, this is a PlayStation show, so we obviously have PSNs. If you want to play with us on PSN, add us. We'll add you immediately. We'll play with you. Alan is that Jew boy. Yep, he regrets it all the time. It's all one word. That Jew boy. Only it's B-O-I instead of Y. That was clever, Alan. Nate is opposed Crow. That is one word. I am Mattman310. Also, again, 2 T's, in case you're wondering. And Tom, like I said, not here, but he is a host. He is Pi_Guy. That's Pi Guy, the guy with the pie. Thank you again for listening to DualShock, and we'll see you again next time. Never stop playing. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Alan. Thank you for being here. And again, never stop playing. Should have said that beforehand.